Chapter 868. In this scene, Xianxia held the girl in his arms and cried. He didn't say anything, nor did he make any sound, but it was very touching. He was so sad that he felt as if the whole world was collapsing in front of him. Many people in the audience had tears in their eyes. Finally, the ending of the film was many years later. The male and female leads met at the corner of the street, leaving an open suspense. In fact, almost no one paid attention to the ending. They were still immersed in the emotion of Xianxia's crying. Okay, I take back my words. You don't have to pay for the ticket. Xianxia's crying at the end is worth the ticket price. Sob, sob, sob. I cried so much. My Mai's acting skills are not bad. My Mai's acting skills are excellent. The point is that his first love is amazing. It's just like my dream girl. She's like the white moonlight in every man's heart. I finally understand what this film is trying to express. Every man will have two women like this in his life. If he marries the red rose, the red one will become a mosquito's blood on the wall, while the white one will still be the bright moonlight in front of the bed. If he marries the white rose, the white one will become a rice stick on his clothes, while the red one will become a cinnabar mole on his heart. Xianxia was silent all the way out of the cinema. What do you think of this film? After a long time, Xianxia suddenly asked. Ning, she touched her chin. Do you want to hear the truth? Forget it. I don't want to hear it, Xianxia said impatiently. Ning, she looked at him speechlessly. He was even more fickle than a woman. This film was originally made to make money. You know it yourself. It can't be helped. I can only say that you were a little unlucky. Shenmian was especially not in the right state when she was shooting this film. In fact, you were not very focused either. Of course I know. As long as I can make money, why should I care so much? Anyway, even if I make the film, the fans will still buy it. Xianxia said, his face gradually darkening. I used to think so, but recently I suddenly feel that it's quite boring. I really want to beat you up. You got something that others might not be able to get in their entire lives without any effort. You can easily get tens of millions of yuan for a film. Even if fans will buy it. Be content with what you have. You're not like me, who treats acting as a career. It's fine as long as you're happy. Ning, she didn't persuade Xianxia to take it seriously. In any case, everyone had their own pursuits and way of life. There was no need to force anyone. Xianxia still looked as if he had nothing to live for. Why do I need to earn so much money? So what if so many people like me? It's meaningless. The person I like doesn't like me. Who would spend the money they earned? Bye-bye. I don't see money as dirt as you do. I'm going to go back and stay up late to work on the project, read the script, and work hard to make money. Get lost. Will you die if you don't show off your love? Fuck. Which word was I showing off my love just now? Every word. Xianxia, you're crazy. Ayaya, my dear boss. Why hasn't he come back from his business trip? I miss him so much. This is called a public display of affection, understand? Finally getting rid of Xianxia, who seemed to be going through menopause, Ning, she returned home. As soon as she opened the door, she found that the lights in the house were on. Then she saw Lu Tingxiao sitting on the sofa with a laptop in his hand, working. Chapter 869. Ning, she was pleasantly surprised. She threw her bag on the floor, kicked off her shoes, and ran over to him barefoot. Boss, you're back. Lu Tingxiao put the laptop on the coffee table and took it from her carefully. He put on his lap. I brought you a present. I don't need a present. You're the best present. Lu Tingxiao chuckled. Did you smear honey on your lips? Do you want to have a taste? Lu Tingxiao's eyes darkened. I remember. Your legs have fully recovered. Ning, she's nerves tightened. She laughed dryly. No. I still have scars. Take a look if you don't believe me. Lu Tingxiao looked at her helplessly. Have you used the scar remover I gave you? This girl, every time she flirted with him, she would be terrified the next second. I use it every day. I don't have a scar, so I won't have any scars. Don't worry. Did you go to the movies? Lu Tingxiao looked at her and asked. Damn, how did you know? Ning, she looked surprised. Lu Tingxiao glanced at one of the bags she had thrown on the floor. It was a small gift for the movie premiere. The name of the movie was printed on the bag. Oh, yes. With whom? Xianxia. Ning, she felt it was better not to lie in front of the devil. It's all for work. I made a cameo appearance in his new movie. What role? Damn, why did the great Demon King ask such a crucial question? Xianxia coughed. First love. Before Lu Tingxiao's face changed, Xianxia continued. We only appeared for a few minutes before we died. Whether it was in the last movie or this one, neither of us had a good ending. We were miserable. Although Xianxia felt that her explanation was actually quite childish, it was quite effective. Lu Tingxiao's expression immediately eased a lot. By the way, have you seen Xiaobao? Xianxia asked hurriedly. I came straight here after I got off the plane. Damn, what kind of father are you? Xianxia said with some melancholy. Alas, Xiaobao hasn't spoken since he said you're not worthy at the birthday party. I'm so worried. Lu Tingxiao glanced at her and said calmly, ultimate skills often have cooldowns. Puff. Hearing this, Xianxia's eyes almost popped out. Sir boss, you even know this. Do you play games too? The description was simply too incisive. I dabbled in it a little. In fact, he had been learning online language and gaming terminology for the sake of having a common language with her. The next morning, Xianxia woke up early in the morning and checked over the information she had prepared for a long time. She changed into a smart and capable outfit and then set off for the headquarters of SF Company. Her target was one of the big clients. SF is a retailer that deals in high-end luxury clothing and is also the distributor of many well-known brands. Many designers make their works known to people through their brand agency stores. For this reason, Xianxia made an appointment half a month in advance. During this time, she kept reading professional books to learn negotiation skills and related knowledge. She also sacrificed her beauty sleep to stay up for several nights to prepare the proposal. Hello, I'm Xianxia, the person in charge of Zailing's studio. I made an appointment to come over this afternoon to talk with Boss Wang about the agency. Chapter 870. Zailing Studio. Did you make an appointment? The little secretary at the front desk frowned slightly. Yes. Wait, let me see. The secretary flipped through the appointment list. Oh, there's such an appointment, but CEO Wang is overseas on a business trip. He is not here. What? Business trip? Xianxia's expression changed slightly. Even if there was an emergency, shouldn't he at least inform her in advance? For this morning, she had even pushed off an appointment with Lin Jiji, but the little secretary opposite her did not look apologetic at all. While busy with her own work, she casually replied, Come again next time. Then when is the next time? When is CEO Wang coming back? Xianxia asked again. I'm not sure. Wait for my notice. The other party dismissed her with just a few words. After preparing for so long, she had to make another appointment from the beginning. Although she knew it would not be so easy, she did not expect to see the person in person. It was impossible not to feel frustrated. She had no choice but to wait. By the river bank, Xianxia enjoyed the breeze for a while before her gloomy mood improved a little. Just as she was about to return home, she turned around and saw an old man standing by the railing not far from her. The old man had a cane in his hand. His hair was white, but his back was tall and straight. His back was not stooped at all. At this moment, the old man was staring at the sea, as if there was something on his mind. Xianxia only felt that this person's aura was a little special, so she took a second look. She did not pay much attention to him and continued walking forward. At this moment, an ancient default ringtone sounded. The old man picked up the phone, and then the old man's expression suddenly changed. Not only that, but his expression became more and more painful. Soon, he could not hold on any longer and fell to the ground. Xianxia watched the scene unfold and reflexively rushed forward to help the old man up. Old sir. Sir, how are you? The old man clutched his chest, his face turning purple. His breathing became more and more rapid, and in the end, he was almost out of breath. It looked like he was having a heart attack. Xianxia was about to ask if he had brought any medicine with him, but in the next second, she saw a small white bottle roll from the old man's trembling hand to the ground and roll into the river. Before her brain could react, Xianxia's body reacted on its own. With a splash, she jumped over the railing into the river and fished out the small white medicine bottle before it sank into the water. After climbing ashore, he unscrewed the lid without delay and poured out a few pills. How many? Fortunately, the old man was still clear-headed and mouthed 3. Xianxia immediately fed him the medicine, and then did some simple first aid based on her memory. Finally, after a while, the old man's complexion gradually recovered. Xianxia was wet all over. The river water and sweat mixed together. Seeing that the old man finally recovered, she breathed a sigh of relief. "Sir, I'll take you to the hospital." No need." The old man refused intermittently, and his attitude was very firm. "Little girl, please send me to Chang'an Road, number 7. You really don't need to go to the hospital? But you, don't worry, my body. I know what I'm doing. Little girl, sorry to trouble you. Hurry." Seeing that the old man's attitude was really insistent, Xianxia could only drive the car over and then drove to the address that the old man said. When she was about to drive to the place, she was slightly stunned. Chang'an Road, wasn't this the military compound? Chapter 871. Sure enough, as soon as Xianxia reached the door, she was stopped by a guard in military uniform. "Please show me your pass." Xianxia could only turn to look at the old man in the back seat. "Sir," the old man panted and said, "let her in." The guard was shocked when he saw the person in the back seat. He replied loudly, "Yes." Then he quickly opened the door. Xianxia did not know the way, so she followed the old man's instructions and drove to the entrance of a quaint house. Then she helped the old man out of the car. She could feel that the old man was very weak because of his illness. If not for her support, he might not even be able to stand properly. She did not know what had happened at home, but he insisted on coming back. While he was helping the old man up the stairs, he suddenly heard the sound of a gunshot. The sound came from inside the house. Xianxia was shocked, and her expression suddenly became fierce. At the same time, she was more worried about the old man beside her. If he was agitated, it would be terrible if his illness acted up again. The old man's expression also changed. He quickened his steps and pushed the door open. The next second, Xianxia saw that in the hall of the house, a 17 or 18-year-old boy had fallen to the ground in a sorry state and was trembling. The girl beside him was holding him tightly in her arms, her face full of panic. "Dad, are you crazy?" A few steps away from them, a middle-aged man dressed in military attire held a gun in his hand and pointed it at the young man who was being protected by the girl. His face was filled with rage, and his expression was extremely gloomy. There was no doubt that he would shoot the young man in the next second. Looking at the girl and the middle-aged man with the gun, Xianxia was stunned. "Zhuang Ku'er, Zhuang Liao Yuan. Then this old man is?" Xianxia subconsciously turned to look at the old man she was supporting. The old man looked at the scene in front of him and roared loudly, "Bastard! Put the gun down. Grandpa! Grandpa! Save me. My dad wants to kill me." The boy scrambled over and hugged the old man's leg. Xianxia thought that the old man was going to protect his grandson, but when the old man saw the boy, he unceremoniously kicked him. "Bastard! What did you promise me the last time? It's only been a month, and you actually beat someone up and sent him to the ICU for a woman. The reputation of our Zhuang family has been ruined by you. What do you mean I snatched a woman? It was clearly that brat who snatched my woman. I was so angry that I found someone to reason with." "Shut up. You haven't even grown your hair yet, and you keep talking about women." The old man hit the young man's back with his walking stick. "Give me the family discipline." When the young man heard this, he could only scramble and hide in Zhuang Ku'er's embrace. "Sister, help me. Help me. I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. I'm also injured. My leg hurts so much that it's about to break. Why do you only know how to scold me?" Zhuang Ku'er was extremely nervous. "Grandpa, Rongwang's body is weak. Last time you whipped him, he almost lost his life. You can't fight anymore." Zhuang Liaoan was like a living king of hell. Expressionless as he said, "Eat the bullet. The family rules. Choose one." Zhuang Rongwang looked at his grandfather and then at his father. Gritting his teeth, he pushed Zhuang Ku'er away and ran towards the door. By the time Zhuang Liaoyuan reacted and tried to stop him, it was already too late. In the next second, Zhuang Rongwang fell flat on his face. Fuck! Who the fuck tripped me? At the main entrance, Ningxi slowly retracted her wet foot. She looked calm and said, "Sorry, my legs are too long." Chapter 872. Out of politeness, Ningxi didn't enter, but just stood at the door. So Zhuang Ke and Zhuang Liaoyuan didn't notice her until now. She was dressed in women's clothes, so Zhuang Ke didn't recognize her. Zhuang Liaoyuan was surprised to see her. Zhuang Zongren was annoyed to see Ningxi. Quick, take this lady upstairs to take a hot bath and change into clean clothes. I was sick by the river just now, and the medicine fell into the river. It was this child who jumped into the water to pick it up and sent me back. Then he glared at Zhuang Rongwang, who was lying on the ground. If it weren't for this child, I'm afraid I wouldn't have come back alive. Hearing this, Zhuang Ke was grateful. I see. Miss, thank you so much. It's so cold. Come upstairs with me to change clothes. Ningxi didn't care. It's okay. I'll go back and change. No way. You must change your wet clothes as soon as possible. Otherwise, you will catch a cold. I'm so stupid. I was so focused on teaching him a lesson that I forgot he was wet. Zhuang Zongren felt guilty. Your health is important. Go with Kur. Zhuang Liaoyuan said seriously. Since the other party said so, Ningxi couldn't refuse and could only nod in agreement. Then I'll have to trouble you. While Ningxi was talking with Zhuang Zongren, the boy at Ningxi's feet rolled his eyes and got up to run out. But Zhuang Liaoyuan had already called someone over. Two young men in military uniforms directly dragged Zhuang Rongwang in from each side. When passing by Ningxi, Zhuang Rongwang glared at her. Bitch. Before he finished his words, he was slapped by Zhuang Liaoyuan. How dare you? Zhuang Liaoyuan's aura was terrible when he was angry, and if Zhuang Zongren hadn't stopped him, he might have shot him again. Zhuang Rongwang didn't dare to say a word and was taken in silence. Excuse me. When Zhuang Liaoyuan turned to Ningxi, his expression became gentle. Ahem, nothing. Ningxi coughed and hurriedly followed Zhuang Ke upstairs. Behind her, Zhuang Zongren looked in the direction Ningxi had left. Leaning on his walking stick, he let out a long sigh, his eyes filled with envy. I wonder what kind of family can raise such a good child. Zhuang Liaoyuan glanced at his father, but did not say anything. This girl has good skills. When she jumped down to help me pick up the herbs, it only took her less than 5 seconds. Zhuang Zongren sighed. His marksmanship is even better. Zhuang Liaoyuan nodded. Why? Do you know him? Zhuang Zongren asked. I've met her twice. She's Lu Tingxiao's girlfriend. No wonder you told Jing Shu not to think about the marriage with the Lu family after you came back the last time. Upstairs. Zhuang Ke took Ningxi to her room. Go in and take a shower. I'll help you find a change of clothes. Okay, thank you. Don't mention it. Our family should be thanking you. Ningxi went into the bathroom, took off her wet clothes, and took a bath. When she came out in her bathrobe, Zhuang Ke had already prepared a full set of clothes for her. There was also a bowl of ginger soup on the table. She was a careful girl. Chapter 873. Zhuang Ke was startled to see Ningxi come out after washing her clothes. Ningxi, who had just showered, was wearing loose pajamas. Her naturally curly black hair was slightly wet, and her body exuded a rosy glow. As a woman, her heart couldn't help but race a few beats when she saw her. Zhuang Ke was stunned for a while before she came back to her senses. She hurriedly said, Well, our underwear should be about the same size, so I found mine for you. But they're all new, and I haven't worn them before. So are the clothes. And this ginger soup, drink it quickly. Okay. After a while, Ningxi changed her clothes. Holding the warm ginger soup, she felt much more comfortable and didn't want to move at all. Zhuang Ke's room was very cozy and comfortable. The main color was warm yellow, with a lace quilt and a warm velvet carpet on the floor. Zhuang Ke's dressing style was also ladylike, so she found a light pink dress for Ningxi and a camel coat that went over her knees. The material was very warm. Seeing Ningxi hugging the bowl and curling up like a cat, Zhuang Ke smiled. Feeling better? Ningxi nodded. By the way, my name is Xianxia. You can call me Ku. I haven't asked your name yet. Xianxia looked at her and asked thoughtfully. Ningxi saw that there was something wrong with her eyes, and her heart was beating fast. Did she recognize her in men's clothes? She murmured, My name is Ningxi. Just as Ningxi finished speaking, Xianxia immediately said with a knowing expression, It's really you. Are you the actress who played Meng Chang'e? Ningxi? Yes. So it was because she recognized her as an actress. She was shocked. Last time, I dragged my dad to the cinema to watch it with me. He usually only watches anti-Japanese war movies. At first, he was reluctant, but after watching it, he really liked the role you played in it. Thank you. Can you give me an autograph? Xianxia said as she ran to find a book. The last time she saw Xianxia at Lu Jingli's villa party, she was still quite arrogant and cold. She didn't expect her to be a soft girl in private. As Ningxi was thinking, Xianxia had already brought a pink book and pen over. Ningxi couldn't refuse her kindness, so she had to give her an autograph. Just as he was about to return the book to Xianxia, a photo suddenly fell out of Xianxia's book. Ningxi picked it up and was about to return it to Xianxia when she was dumbfounded the next second. Motherfucker. The person in the photo, wasn't it her? Moreover, she was dressed as a man. Taking a closer look, the background in the photo, as well as the way she was dressed, was most likely taken on the day of Lu Jingli's party. From the angle, it was obvious that the photo was taken secretly. Get it back to me. When Xianxia saw this, she immediately snatched it back in embarrassment. She looked extremely nervous. Ningxi was still in a daze. She couldn't describe her feelings at all. She could not help but recall the conversation she had with Xianxia. I know I'm not in a position to ask, but is it true? You and Lu Tingxiao really have that kind of relationship? So what if it's real? So what if it's fake? If it's true, then I give up. Originally, I was determined to get Lu Tingxiao. It's because of you that I gave up. I won't fight with you. What a tragedy. Did she accidentally hit on Xianxia when she was dressed as a man? Chapter 874. Thinking of this, Ningxi couldn't help but ask, Is the man in this photo yours? Xianxia stared at the man in the photo with sparkling eyes and said proudly, This is my idol. Isn't he super handsome? Yes, he's quite handsome. Ningxi laughed dryly. Unfortunately, no matter how handsome he is, he already has a boyfriend. Ahem. Ningxi choked. Xianxia glanced at Ningxi and sighed. Say, why do all the handsome men have boyfriends these days? Ningxi couldn't answer. Do you know who my idol's boyfriend is? Xianxia asked mysteriously. Ningxi shook her head innocently. I don't know. Who is it? He's my previous blind date. He's crazy. That's a trap. Ningxi looked surprised. Xianxia rested her chin on her hand and mumbled, My family has introduced me to a few blind dates before, and all of them are soldiers. My father is a soldier, my grandfather is a soldier, my great-grandfather is a soldier, and my great-grandmother is also a soldier. I really don't want to marry a soldier anymore. Can you understand how I feel? Ningxi nodded repeatedly to show that she understood. Later, my mother finally arranged for me to meet a man who wasn't a soldier. At that time, I was actually quite satisfied, even though he didn't seem to be very interested in me and didn't even want to meet me. But that's the challenge, isn't it? So, one time his brother had a party, and I went trying to create an opportunity to get along with him. Then at that party, I met my idol at that time. I accidentally sprained my ankle and almost fell into the swimming pool. Many people were waiting to see me make a fool of myself. At the thought of being embarrassed in front of so many people, I really wanted to die at that moment. But at that time, my idol appeared. You don't know how handsome he was. Xianxia said, grabbing Ningxi's arm and shaking excitedly. Ningxi, I know. I'm often stunned by my own handsomeness. Xianxia's cheeks were red and her eyes were sparkling. She looked like a die-hard fan. And he was very gentle and attentive. When he saw that I'd sprained my ankle, he applied ointment on me, and I immediately fell in love with him. In the end, I found out that he and my blind date were a couple. He actually liked men. I, uh, I'm sorry. I seem to be a little excited. Zhuang Kuer finally realized that she had lost her composure. She quickly let go of Ning Shi's hand and returned to her standard lady's sitting posture. It's fine. Ning, she said casually and touched her nose guiltily. Zhuang Kuer looked at Ning Shi embarrassedly. I'm not a very likable person. I don't have many friends since I was a child. I don't know why, but when I saw you, I felt very close to you. I even felt that I had seen you somewhere before, so I couldn't help telling you more. Ningxi looked at the girl gently and said with a chuckle, How could it be? Miss Zhuang is very cute. After all, with her family background, Zhuang Kuer's temperament was inevitably a little arrogant. She always had a dignified attitude and always had a perfect posture in front of others. Naturally, she gave people a feeling that it was difficult to approach her. Chapter 875. However, Ningxi felt that no matter what kind of girl she was, she had a cute side. It just depended on whether you could find it or whether she was willing to show it to you. Looking at Ningxi's serious expression when she praised her, Zhuang Kuer's heart skipped a beat. Is that so? Of course. Miss Zhuang, she is my... What? Zhuang Kuer tilted her head. Nothing. Ningxi shook her head and took back her words. She is my type. She looks cold and tough, but she is delicate and soft inside. She is a typical tsundere. She is one of her favorite girls. By the way, are you acting in any new shows recently? I want to see them. Zhuang Kuer asked with interest. Recently, I only made a guest appearance in our 18 for a few minutes. Other than that, there are no other shows. But the new show has been confirmed. If everything goes well, it will start shooting soon. They chatted for a long time until someone knocked on the door. Zhuang Ku opened the door. Dad, have you changed your clothes? Yes, it's done. Mr. Zhuang, sorry to bother you. Ningxi got up and thanked him. Ningxi was about to say goodbye when Zhuang Liaoyuan suddenly said, Miss Ning, if you have nothing to do today, why don't you stay for a while and leave after dinner? That's not necessary. It's too much of a bother. Ningxi declined. Not at all. You have helped us so much. We should treat you well. Don't stand on ceremony. Besides, I still have a lot of things to tell you. Zhuang Kuer held her arm intimately and looked at Ning, she with a trace of nervousness in her eyes. It was rare for her to have a friend that she could talk to. She was reluctant to let her go. Well, if you don't agree, we will be very sorry. Ning she couldn't bear to refuse a girl's request, so she finally agreed. Okay then. At this time, Ning Shi's cell phone rang. She looked at the caller ID. It was Lu Tingxiao. Sorry, I have to take this. Ning Shi walked to the balcony. Hello, are you done? Want to have dinner together tonight? Well, I don't think I can do it tonight. Ning Shi was talking to Lu Tingxiao. Suddenly, there came a roar downstairs. Open the door. Let me out. I'm not a criminal. Why should I be locked up? Why? Is there still law? Where are you? Lu Tingxiao clearly heard Ning Shi's voice. The corners of Ning Shi's mouth twitched as she listened to Zhuang Rongwang's howls downstairs. She explained to Lu Tingxiao, It's a long story. Didn't I go to talk to a client this morning? In the end, I waited for a long time, but it was empty. I could only go back first. When I passed by the river, I met an old man who had a heart attack. Then, Ning Shi didn't dare to tell Lu Tingxiao that she had jumped into the water to look for medicine, so she made up a story. Then I helped him find the medicine, fed it to him, and sent him home. Now he wants me to stay for dinner to thank me. What's so great about being an admiral? Just because you're a general, you can just shoot and lock people up? This was a democratic society. I demand proper personal freedom. Even if you're my father, you have no right to lock me up. Zhuang Rongwang was still howling downstairs. Chapter 876. Hearing the voice, Lu Tingxiao heard the word general and recalled the useless son of the Zhuang family. He was a bit surprised. You saved Zhuang Zongren? Ning she scratched her head and said, Yes, I didn't know it until I saw Zhuang Kuer and Zhuang Liaoyuan at home. It seems that Zhuang Rongwang made trouble again. Grandpa was stimulated by the phone call and got sick. I was going to leave, but I couldn't refuse your kindness. I'll pick you up tonight. That's not necessary. I'll drive myself. Do you think I'll let you stay with Zhuang, Liao Yuan alone? Lu Tingxiao's voice was cold. Ning Shi, she remembered that Zhuang Liao Yuan said he would introduce her to a boyfriend. That devil was so vengeful. Soon, the Zhuang family was having dinner. It was a traditional Chinese round table with a sumptuous meal. Only Zhuang Zongren, Zhuang Liao Yuan, and Zhuang Ke were at the table. I asked Mrs. Zhang to prepare some dishes for you. I don't know if they suit your taste. Zhuang Zongren was very kind. They're all delicious. Ning, she said hurriedly. Then eat more. Lass, you look too skinny. Grandpa, I'm an actress. I need to go on a diet. I can't eat too much. How can I? It's not good for my health. Zhuang Zongren said disapprovingly. Ning, she said hurriedly. It's okay. I don't go on a diet. I just eat normally because I exercise a lot. Well, that's right. Nothing is more important than your health. I'm hungry. I'm starving. I want to eat. I want to eat. Did you hear me? Are you going to starve me to death? Am I really his? The room was filled with ghostly wails and wolf-like howls. Ning, she coughed, feeling a bit embarrassed. Zhuang Zongren put on a straight face and put some food in Ningxi's bowl. Don't mind him. Zhuang Ke, he thought he had gone too far this time, so she suppressed her heartache. Zhuang Liao Yuan pinched his eyebrows and said bitterly, I'm sorry. I can tame any soldier, but I can't even control my own son. At the mention of Zhuang Rongguang, the atmosphere at the dining table became a little gloomy. After all, it was a family matter, so Ning, she didn't want to interrupt. Looking at Zhuang Liao Yuan's frustrated face, she thought about her words and said, teaching a son is different from leading an army. Especially for a boy, it's inevitable that he will be rebellious at this period. Zhuang Ke sighed softly. But how could there be such a troublemaker like him? He's only 18 years old. He smokes, drinks, skips classes, fights, and gambles. He doesn't learn the good, but he doesn't learn the bad. We've tried everything, but he still refuses to repent. Forget it. Let's not talk about him. Let's eat. Yes, let's eat. Little Shi, try this fish. It's wild and very fresh. When dinner was almost over, an orderly ran over and whispered something in Zhuang Liao Yuan's ear. Zhuang Liao Yuan glanced in Ning Shi's direction and then whispered a few words to the orderly. A moment later, he heard familiar footsteps behind him. Ning Shi turned her head subconsciously and saw the orderly come in with a man. It was Lu Tingxiao. At the dining table, Zhuang Liao Yuan looked in Lu Tingxiao's direction and snorted unhappily. Why are you in such a hurry? Do you think I'll eat him? Chapter 877. This is... Zhuang Zongren looked sharply at the tall man in a black suit opposite him. General Zhuang, sorry to disturb you. I'm Xiaoxi's boyfriend. Oh, the boy from the Lu family. You're here to pick up Xiaoxi, aren't you? Zhuang Zongren suddenly understood. Yes. At this moment, Ning Shi had already stood up and walked to Lu Tingxiao. Sir, Uncle Zhuang Ke, thank you for your invitation. I'm leaving now. Zhuang Liao Yuan snorted and said nothing. Zhuang Zongren thought that Zhuang Liao Yuan was dissatisfied with the fact that Lu Tingxiao and Ke had failed to reach an agreement. Zhuang Zongren did not think much of it and said, Go ahead. Take care. At this time, Zhuang Ke, who had been silent since just now, suddenly stood up. The chair rubbed against the ground, making a harsh, scratching sound. Lu Tingxiao, you're too much. Following Zhuang Ke's angry roar, everyone's eyes fell on her in an instant. Zhuang Zongren looked displeased. Ke, don't be rude. Zhuang Liao Yuan frowned, and a trace of suspicion flashed across his face. Based on his understanding of his daughter, even if Lu Tingxiao chose another woman in the end, she would never be so impolite as to question him face to face. Zhuang Ke ran over and pulled Ning Shi to her side. Xiaoxi, don't believe him. He's lying to you. He liked men from the very beginning. After all, in front of so many people, no matter how angry Zhuang Ke was, she didn't want to expose Ning Shi's secret in public. She could only look at Ning Shi anxiously. Anyway, Xiaoxi, believe me, he's not a good person. He's too timing. What? Zhuang Zhongren and Zhuang Liaoyuan both looked shocked. Lu Tingxiao didn't show any special expression, but slightly raised his eyebrows, and his eyes fell on Ningxi. Ningxi held her forehead and felt her head was about to explode. Well, this is actually a misunderstanding. No misunderstanding. I saw it with my own eyes. Xiaoxi, you must believe me. Zhuang Ke looked at Lu Tingxiao as if looking at scumbag. Ningxi looked at Zhuang Zhongren, Zhuang Liaoyuan, and especially Lu Tingxiao. Can I talk to Ke alone? There are some things I need to explain to her. Originally, he was hoping that he could get away with it, but it seemed like this misunderstanding had to be cleared up. Hearing this, Zhuang Ke, he couldn't have asked for more. She immediately pulled Ningxi upstairs to her room. Downstairs, Lu Tingxiao raised his head slightly and watched as Zhuang Ke dragged his wife into the house. His expression didn't look too good. Why did everyone want to steal his wife? At this moment, Zhuang Liaoyuan looked at Lu Tingxiao sternly. Last time, he felt that he and Guan Ziao had an ambiguous relationship. Did he really do something to Xiaoxi? Upstairs, Zhuang Ke pulled Ningxi to sit on the bed and said solemnly, Xiaoxi, what I'm going to say may be very hard for you to accept. You must be mentally prepared. Ningxi stroked her forehead. What I'm going to say may be hard for you to accept. I hope you're mentally prepared. Then I'll speak first. All right, go ahead. Ningxi was already thinking about how to tell her the truth that her idol is actually a woman, so that the blow to her would be less severe. Chapter 878. Xiaoxi, I don't know what Lu Tingxiao told you, but I can tell you that he doesn't love you. Zhuang Ke took a deep breath and said, because Lu Tingxiao doesn't like women at all. He likes men, and he already has a boyfriend. His boyfriend is my idol that I told you about before. He's just using you to cover up his true sexual orientation. I know this sounds ridiculous, but please, you must believe me because... Ningxi interrupted her. Lu Tingxiao's boyfriend is me. Because I saw it with my own eyes. What did you just say? Zhuang Ke looked at her in astonishment. I said, Ke, I was the man at the party that day. What are you talking about? Zhuang Ke looked like she didn't understand what she was talking about. Ningxi deliberated over her words and explained, that day at the party, the man surnamed Tang was me. At that time, Lu Jingli invited me to the party. I was worried that Lu Tingxiao's son would cause unnecessary misunderstandings, so I dressed up as a man for convenience's sake. I didn't think that something unexpected would happen after that, and everyone would misunderstand that Lu Tingxiao and I had that kind of relationship. Wait a minute, you mean Mr. Tang, is you? You dressed up as a man? Zhuang Ke tried to sort out her thoughts. Yes. Zhuang Ke didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Xiaoxi, you're really obsessed with Lu Tingxiao. I know you might want to protect him. Don't worry, I haven't told anyone about this. I didn't want you to be deceived today, so I couldn't help telling you. How could you be Mr. Tang? I saw him with my own eyes. Ke, I am indeed him. Ningxi's heart almost collapsed. She didn't have a place to change into men's clothes. How could she explain this mess? Zhuang Ke sighed and looked at Ningxi, who was wearing a light pink dress and had waist-length hair, as if she was looking at a silly girl who had lost her mind because of love. Cici, don't be so stubborn. You are so beautiful and so excellent. Why do you like a man who doesn't love you at all? I don't discriminate against homosexuals, but it's too much to use innocent women to cover up sexual orientation. Okay, Ke, you said that Lu Tingxiao likes men and already has a boyfriend. Call that man out and confront me face to face, then I'll believe you. Ningxi knew that it was impossible to convince Zhuang Ke just by talking, so she stared at Zhuang Ke and said. Zhuang Ke frowned. I don't have Mr. Tang's contact information. Ningxi nodded. Okay, you can't call it out, right? But I can. Zhuang Ke. The moment her voice fell, Ningxi, who was sitting on the edge of the bed, suddenly twisted her body. The next second, Zhuang Ke was pressed down on the bed by her arm, Cici, in the blink of an eye, although Ningxi was still wearing a ladle-like dress, whether it was the expression between her brows or the temperament of her body. They had all undergone a tremendous change. Ning, she supported herself with one arm on the side of Zhuang Ke'er's body in a standard bedside posture. The gentleness and modesty between her eyebrows had completely disappeared. Instead, she looked fierce and careless. She lowered her voice and said in her ear, "Now, who am I?" Even at this moment, Ningxi's appearance was completely that of a woman, but Zhuang Ke instantly overlapped her with a man who had once stunned her. There was a knock on the door, and then the door was pushed open from the outside. Ning, at the door, Lu Tingxiao looked at the two people lying on the bed. He was still in the posture of pushing the door open when he suddenly froze. Chapter 879. Zhuang Ke and Ning, she reflexively looked towards the door at the same time and saw Lu Tingxiao's pale face. Ning, she covered her face speechlessly. What the hell? What was with the déjà vu of catching an adulterer in bed? As if the magic time had been lifted, Ning, she switched from a prairie wolf to a domestic rabbit in a second. She climbed up and bounced to Lu Tingxiao. Lu Tingxiao, why are you here? Lu Tingxiao originally thought it would be difficult to explain this matter, so he was going to tell Zhuang Ke in person, but now it seemed that there was no need. Are you really him? Zhuang Ke stood up in a daze. She felt like she was dreaming. She was still immersed in the excitement of being caught off guard by her Prince Charming. She could still hear the deep and bewitching words, "Now, who am I?" ringing in her ears. Her heart was beating rapidly. It was clearly a girl in front of her. How could it be? How could it be? This was incredible. Looking at Zhuang Ke'er's naked eyes, Lu Tingxiao calmly pulled Ningxi behind him. Since the misunderstanding has been cleared up, then goodbye. After saying that, he directly pulled Ningxi downstairs, without any delay. Zhuang Ke looked anxious, but it was too late to stop him. She could only watch the idol she had been thinking about day and night being taken away by a wild man in just a few seconds outside the courtyard. Ningxi turned her head and looked in the direction of her car. Wait. Lu Tingxiao, I drove here. I will ask the driver to drive away. Oh, in the car? Lu Tingxiao didn't speak all the way. His thin lips were tight, and he was obviously angry, and very angry. Ningxi had a headache and pinched her eyebrows. Damn, why did it seem like she was really caught in bed? Ahem, angry? Lu Tingxiao was silent. Well, you can't blame me. I'm just trying to clear your name, am I? If you hadn't kissed me in public that day, would Zhuang Ke have misunderstood that we were a couple? I was trying to clean up the mess for you. Otherwise, people would really think that you like men and are two-timing. Lu Tingxiao still didn't speak. Zhuang Ke is a girl, okay? Do you really want to be jealous of girls? Ning, she murmured. The next second, the light turned red. Ning, she felt that the backrest behind her suddenly fell down. Before she could react, the man's figure covered her from the driver's seat. His arms were on her side, and his eyes were shining. His tone was extremely dangerous. Yes, even if you were a woman, it's the same. As soon as he finished speaking, he kissed her lips ferociously. Do. The green light turned green, and a series of urging voices came from behind. Ning, she pushed the man and tried to get up. Hey, green light. Who taught me not to mess around while driving? Lu Tingxiao's body didn't move at all. His arm touched a certain part of the car behind him, and he immediately kissed it again. Then, the car started to move on its own. Looking at the scenery outside the car, gradually speeding up, Ningxi's eyes almost popped out. Shit, self-driving? Did he install this thing after the last time? Amazing, my great demon king. Chapter 880. When they got home, Ningxi puffed up her cheeks and groaned. She was obviously unhappy. Lu Tingxiao looked deeply at the marks on the girl's fair neck caused by his loss of control. You don't like it? Ningxi nodded hard. How could he be jealous of a woman? If you saw me doing that with another man one day, would you be indifferent? Lu Tingxiao said lightly. You did that with another man? Ningxi imagined the scene and almost had a nosebleed. How could I be indifferent? Looking at the girl's excited face, she was obviously not jealous. Lu Tingxiao's eyes flashed with a trace of helplessness. Ew. Forget it. Ning-Shi looked at Lu Tingxiao's tired face and walked over to him with small steps. Are you angry? Lu Tingxiao glanced at her. If I was really angry with you, do you think I would still be alive? Why did it sound like she would piss him off? She was just impulsively making a little trouble and accidentally flirting with a girl. Soon after Lu Tingxiao left, Ning-Shi exercised for a while and was about to go to bed when her cell phone rang. She looked at the caller ID. It was Zhuang Ke. They had exchanged numbers before. Why was she calling so late at night? Ning-Shi picked up the phone suspiciously. Hello, Kua. Xiaoxi, are you asleep? Did I disturb you? Zhuang Ke asked cautiously. It's okay. I haven't slept yet. Oh, Zhuang Ke just said, oh, and didn't say anything else. Ning-Shi had to take the initiative to say, well, I'm sorry about what happened before. I made you misunderstand. Zhuang Ke said softly, there's nothing to apologize for. You didn't mean to deceive me. Instead, I should thank you. Thank you for helping me out. I always wanted to thank you in person. Hearing the girl's slightly nervous and shy tone, she touched her nose and hurriedly coughed. It's okay, it's nothing. Well, Xiaoxi, are you free tomorrow? Zhuang Ke hesitated for a long time and finally asked. Tomorrow. I have to go to the company tomorrow. My agent has something to discuss with me. I'm not sure when he'll be done. Is there something you need? She asked tentatively. It's nothing. It's nothing important. We should be considered friends now, right? You know, I don't have many friends. I just want to ask you to go shopping and eat something. If you don't have time, then forget it. Work is more important. Zhuang Ke stammered. Hearing that the girl was obviously very disappointed, but pretended that it was okay, Ning-Shi almost couldn't help but have a tender heart for the fairer sex and agree to everything on the spot. In the end, he tactfully said, let's play together when we have time. After saying this, the other end of the phone suddenly fell silent for a long time. Ning-Shi frowned. Hello? Kua, are you still there? Xiaoxi, do you hate me? Zhuang Ke's voice trembled slightly. Ning-Shi was startled when she heard the sobbing voice on the other end. She hurriedly said, how could it be? Why would you think that? Chapter 881. After all, Lu Tingxiao at that time, we were even rivals in love, but now, I really don't have that kind of feeling towards Lu Tingxiao anymore. Believe me. Can you don't hate me? Zhuang Ke was too anxious to explain, so she was almost incoherent. After all, she was used to being arrogant. She had probably never said anything like that to anyone before, and she did not know how to make friends. One had to know that it was harder than ascending to the heavens to make a tsundere person confess their inner thoughts. At the same time, this also proved that she really, really cared about you. Ning-Shi's heart softened. She said without thinking, Kua, I really don't hate you. On the contrary, I like you very much and I want to be friends with you. I do have something to do tomorrow, and I'm not sure when I'll be done. How about the day after tomorrow? Let's go for dinner, go shopping, and watch a movie. Really, really? Zhuang Ke said in an incredulous tone. Of course. I'll see you the day after tomorrow. It's a deal. Sure. After hanging up the phone, Ning-Shi, who realized what she had done, wailed and fell on the bed. Fuck. Why can't I control myself again? I'm so tired. I can't resist cute girls at all. The next night, Ning-Shi went straight to the Platinum Gold Palace after she was done with her work. She went to soothe the devil. Ning-Shi cooked a scrumptious meal. After dinner, she took the initiative to wash the dishes. At night, after putting Little Bun to sleep, she seized the opportunity to go to Lu Tingxiao and massage his shoulders and legs. Lu Tingxiao was sitting on the sofa. He looked like he was still focused on the documents in his hands. However, in reality, the girl was kneeling beside him. Her soft, boneless hands were massaging his thigh muscles with just the right amount of force. When she moved up, she would occasionally touch some sensitive parts. Even if he had great self-control, he would not be able to concentrate. Finally, Lu Tingxiao couldn't take it anymore. He pinched his eyebrows and threw away the documents in his hand. He grabbed the girl's wrist and lifted her up, instantly pulling her onto his lap. All right, tell me, what's the matter? Ning-Shi sat on Lu Tingxiao's lap, blinked her eyes, and said weakly to her fingers, Boss, how did you know I had something to do? Lu Tingxiao glanced at her expressionlessly. You're unaccountably solicitous. Ning, she broke out in a sweat and said righteously, What? No way. I'm not a traitor or a thief, okay? Lu Tingxiao wrapped his arms around the girl and leaned back on the sofa in a relaxed manner. What's that? Ning, she tried to choose her words carefully. Ahem, it's really nothing. It's just, I've made an appointment with Xianxia to eat and go shopping tomorrow. If I remember correctly, I have an appointment with you. Lu Tingxiao's face darkened. Right. I'm sorry. I only thought of it when I agreed to it. But after I agreed to it, I really couldn't bring myself to say no. So, you can bring yourself to say yes to me. Lu Tingxiao's face was completely dark. Ning, she immediately hugged his neck and rubbed her cat-like head against his chin. Of course I can bring myself to say yes to you. Xianxia is an outsider, and you're my wife. Don't you think we're friends? Chapter 882. Ning, she said, Xianxia is an outsider, but you are my wife. Don't you think we're friends? Lu Tingxiao. How could he say no? Lu Tingxiao kept a straight face, and his thin lips were tightly pursed. His expression was frosty as he said, Yes. Ning, she immediately bit the man's chin happily like a cat that had stolen a fish. I know you love me the most, boss. Lu Tingxiao glanced at the girl's unruly behavior, just because he liked her, and he felt helpless in his heart. He spoiled her so much. Who could he blame? However, thinking that her spoiled, willful, and even unreasonable side belonged only to him, he was extremely satisfied. You can see her, but you are not allowed to cross the line. Lu Tingxiao put forward the condition seriously. Obviously, he was referring to the thing that she had done to Xianxia in bed that day. Yes, don't worry, I won't. In fact, it's normal for girls to be intimate. Don't be so nervous, I don't like women. Ning, she said helplessly. Lu Tingxiao didn't speak, but just glanced at her, obviously doubtful. Noticing Lu Tingxiao's obvious disbelief, Ning, she narrowed her eyes and pushed the man down on the sofa. She lowered her voice and said, Don't you know whether I like men or women? Lu Tingxiao held the back of the girl's head and kissed her hard. I need to know more. The next day, Ning, she would rather arrive early than late for a date with a girl, so she arrived 20 minutes earlier. When she was about to arrive at the appointed place, she received a call from Xianxia. On the other end of the phone, Xianxia sounded a little anxious. Xiaoxi, have you arrived? Yes, I just arrived. Ning, she answered. Sorry, Xiaoxi, there seems to be a traffic accident ahead. The road is very congested. I'm afraid I'll be late. I'm really sorry, it doesn't matter. I'll walk around nearby and wait for you. Don't worry, take care. Safety is more important, okay? Okay. After hanging up the phone, Ning, she wandered around the mall. This was the largest high-end shopping mall in the capital, with many luxury brands. Basically, all the big brands you could think of could be found here. On the contrary, the strength and reputation of a brand store that could appear here were definitely not low. As he was casually strolling around, he caught a glimpse of a shop opposite him that was decorated in an ancient style. Ning, she stood in front of the store and couldn't help but stop. This was History's new store. Looking up at the history sign above her head, Ning, she felt a little emotional. Although her studio had begun to make profits, it still mainly received private orders. At present, there was not a single brand store. With the purpose of learning and investigating, Ning, she was ready to go in for a stroll. Welcome to History. The sweet voice of a shop assistant came from inside. Miss, what style would you like to buy? A shop assistant enthusiastically came over to serve her. Ning, she pushed up her sunglasses. Just walk around, don't worry about me. All right, if you need anything, please feel free to call me. Yes. After all, this was Century City, where every inch of land was worth its weight in gold. History Store had obviously been renovated at a high price. From the inside to the outside, it exuded high-end luxury. In order to match the style of the clothing, the decoration style was also Chinese, using flower and bird screens, mahogany chairs, rattan sofas, antique vases, and other furnishings, giving people a feeling of transmigration. Chapter 883. Of course, the most important thing was the clothes. Zhuang Ke hadn't come, and Ning, she was too focused on her research to notice the time. Seeing that Ning, she didn't want to buy it after looking at it for so long, the shop assistant was a little unhappy. She looked Ningxi up and down, and her face became even more unfriendly. Miss, today is the weekend, and it's the peak time. There are many customers in the store. If you don't want to buy it, can you go somewhere else? Don't disturb our business. Ningxi was about to speak when the shop assistant suddenly looked past her and walked towards the door enthusiastically. Miss Jean, please come in. You've come at the right time. We have a new batch of goods today. You must like it. Ningxi subconsciously turned around and saw Ning Xiaoluo's two close friends, Ing Fonglin and Jin Xianxia. The shop assistant knew that these two were Ning Xiaoluo's good friends and were rich young ladies with great purchasing power, so she was very enthusiastic. Ing Fonglin saw Ningxi in the store and looked at her as if she was a fly. Xiaochun, why do you serve all kinds of people? What happened just now? Jin Xianxia asked. The shop assistant took a look at Ningxi. Miss, do you know her? She looked at it for a long time and didn't buy it, and she was wearing Zai Ling's clothes. I suspected that she was deliberately looking for trouble, so I was persuading her to go somewhere else. Ningxi was a little amused. Couldn't she enter a Hermes store because she was wearing Chanel's clothes? However, this gave her a piece of information. It seemed that the insiders of history were keeping a close eye on Zai Ling, to the point of guarding her to the death. Otherwise, it would be impossible for even a shop assistant to be so hostile to Zai Ling, to the point of being able to recognize the clothes she was wearing at a glance. Ing Fonglin crossed her arms and said sarcastically, "Oh, people like her who can't afford high-end goods and can only buy cheap imitations are just looking for trouble." Jin Xianxian seemed to suddenly think of something and said in an exaggerated tone, "Oh, Ningxi, where's your black card?" "Yes, didn't you do a good job last time? Why don't you take it out now?" "Why? Dumped? What are you talking about?" "Hey, Ningxi, you're here too." Ning Shui walked in from outside. "Miss." The employees in the store greeted Ning Shuiluo when they saw her. Ing Fonglin walked over and held Ning Xiaoluo's arm intimately. "Xiaoluo, you're here. This woman is like a haunting ghost. How dare she come and tarnish your store?" Ning Xiaoluo said gently, "Fonglin, don't say that. He's a customer, and our service motto is that the customer is God. We still have to see what kind of customers they are. After all, you're a high-end brand. If customers see that these riffraff people are also buying your brand, it's going to ruin your brand." At this moment, a voice suddenly came from behind. This, wrap all of these up for me." Hearing the familiar voice, Ningxi subconsciously raised her head and saw Zhuang Ke standing there with a cold face, pointing to a row of clothes and saying to the shop assistant, Okay, I'll help you pack it up. Do you want all of these?" The receptionist didn't expect that before she could say a word, such a big order suddenly fell on her. She was immediately excited. "Yes, all of them." "Miss Zhuang." Seeing her, Ning Xiaoluo's eyes suddenly lit up. She directly left Ning Xi and the others and took the initiative to go forward. "I didn't expect that Miss Zhuang also likes history's clothes. What an honor." Chapter 884. Who are you? Zhuang Ke looked arrogantly at the woman who suddenly came to talk to her. "Miss, this is the boss of our store." The shop assistant hurriedly introduced. "Miss Zhuang, my surname is Ning. This is my business card." Ning Xiaoluo handed over a business card, then looked at the shop assistant and said directly, "Miss Zhuang, these clothes are free of charge." Zhuang Ke frowned slightly. "What do you mean, boss?" Ning Xiaoluo smiled. "It's our honor that Miss Zhuang likes history's clothes. These clothes are a little token of my appreciation, seeing that our clothes can be worn by the people who are most suitable for it. This makes me happier than making profits." At this time, Ing Fonglin and Jin Xianxian were whispering, "Miss Zhuang? Which Miss Zhuang? There are so many clothes. They add up to hundreds of thousands, and Shuelua actually gave them away. Surname Zhuang. Could she be the daughter of General Zhuang's family in the capital? Xianxia thought and came forward to talk to her. Miss Zhuang, no wonder you like history's clothes. You have such a classical temperament. Wearing this style of clothes is perfect. Thinking of the opportunity to get to know the daughter of the capital's top aristocratic family, Ying Fonglin naturally did not want to be outdone. Yes, especially this white one. It's especially suitable for you. There are some other new styles in the store. Would Miss Zhuang like to try? At this time, Ningxi had been completely squeezed behind by a few people. Seeing that Zhuang Kuer was buying clothes, she could not leave directly, so she sat down on the sofa, thinking that they would leave together after Zhuang Kuer bought the clothes at this time. The shop assistant who had just served Ning, she saw that Ningxi was still here and refused to leave. Especially when he thought that when he was arguing with Ning, she just now, he caused such a big order for Zhuang Kuer to be snatched away by someone else. However, at this time, there was a distinguished guest, so it was not good for her to chase her away. She could only stare at her with disdain. Ningxi, on the other hand, was calm, holding her chin and looking in Zhuang Kuer's direction like a man waiting for his girlfriend to buy clothes after a long while. Zhuang Kuer finally bought the clothes. Miss Zhuang, your clothes are all packed. The shop assistant sorted out the big and small bags of clothes one by one. Okay, Zhuang Kuer nodded. Ning Shuo glanced at the clothes and said considerately, they seem to be a little heavy. Miss Zhuang, I'll have someone send them directly to your residence. No need. Zhuang Kuer directly refused. Also, thank you for your kindness. However, there is no need for a free bill. Ning Shuo's original intention was to make friends with Zhuang Kuer. She had achieved her goal after chatting for a while. She knew that Zhuang Kuer would not easily accept gifts from others, so she did not insist and asked the shop assistant to give her a discount. Welcome back, Miss Zhuang. If there is the latest model next time, I will ask the shop assistant to keep it for you. Ning Shuo was about to send her out, but Zhuang Kuer, who had paid the bill, did not walk out. Instead, she walked straight behind them. Xiaoxi, have you bought it? Ningxi looked up and asked with a smile. Zhuang Kuer nodded repeatedly, and then suddenly stuffed all the big and small bags in her hands in front of Ningxi. Here you go. Ningxi was stunned for a moment. For me? Zhuang Kuer seemed to be a little embarrassed and pursed her lips. Her watery eyes were unusually bright, with a trace of childlike expectation for praise. Yes, for you. Don't you like this brand of clothes? Chapter 885. When Zhuang Kuer was outside, she saw through the glass cabinet that she was looking at those clothes very attentively. Later, when she came in, she happened to see the scene of her being ridiculed by the staff and the other women. So she couldn't help but buy these clothes for her. She looked at the girl's serious expression as if she wanted to make her happy and support her. She felt that her heart was about to melt. How could she be so cute? At this moment, looking at the scene in front of them, Ying Fonglin and Xianxia looked at each other, and the staff were all dumbfounded. No one had expected that this distinguished customer, whom their boss treated so politely, would know this customer who couldn't afford to buy clothes but refused to leave. Moreover, they seemed to be very close. The most embarrassing thing was that they all thought that Miss Zhuang liked the clothes in their store and kept praising her for her good temperament and taste. But in the end, it turned out that she didn't like the clothes in their store at all. She just bought them for someone else. At this moment, the most shocked person was Ning Shuo. Since when did she have such a relationship with Zhuang Kuer? After learning about Zhuang Lingyu's background, she had been trying to get in touch with the Zhuang family for a long time. She thought that Zhuang Kuer, who was about the same age as her, would be the best target. Unfortunately, the gap between their identities was too big, and it was too difficult to find a suitable opportunity to get in touch with her. Today, she had finally met Zhuang Kuer, who had taken the initiative to visit her store. It was a great opportunity that had fallen from the sky. Who knew that the moment she turned around, the opportunity had turned into a stick that smacked her right in the face. Xiaoxi, what's wrong? Zhuang Ke was actually very meticulous and sensitive. She seemed to have noticed something and asked uneasily, did I make a mistake? You don't like this brand of clothes? Ning, she didn't want to lie to her, so she nodded and said directly, yes, I really don't like it. Hearing this, Ning Shua gritted her teeth so hard that they almost broke. Damn it, this bitch did it on purpose. How dare she deliberately slander Histity in front of Zhuang? What a stubborn duck. She didn't like it, yet she came to see it for so long. If Ning Shi's words were a little more euphemistic, she could take the opportunity to make friends with Zhuang Ke. At that time, it would not be a problem to give Ning Shi a few more clothes. In the end, Ning Shi, this bitch, actually said such a thing. Humph, this bitch thought that she had hit her. Didn't she know that her blunt refusal was simply making Zhuang Ke lose face in front of so many people? Zhuang Ke was such a proud young lady. Even if she had a good relationship with you, how could she tolerate Ning Shi's impudent and rude behavior? Ah, I see. I thought you liked it. Zhuang Ke's eyes dimmed a little. Ning Shi looked at the girl who was obviously at a loss. Her eyes were full of intimacy and true love. She said slowly, I didn't like you at first, but what? Zhuang Ke looked nervous. Ning Shi took the bag from one of Zhuang Ke's hands, then naturally held her other hand, turned to her, and gave her an extremely doting smile, but, love me, love my dog. Chapter 886. The moment the hoarse and touching love me, love my dog ended, Zhuang Ke's heart felt as if it was wrapped in warm seawater. Her original nervousness and insecurity dissipated, as if she was being comforted by a gentle hand, gently stroking her head and comforting her. Ever since she was a child, her father had given her and her brother a military-style education. Her mother was also very strict with her. She had never felt so pampered before. Zhuang Ke looked at her hand held by Ning Shi and felt the girl's soft and warm palm. Suddenly, she put all the clothes in her other hand on the sofa and threw the bags in Ning Shi's hand over. Then, she took Ning Shi's arm and said happily, since you don't like them, let's go shopping at the places you like. As Zhuang Ke said this, she happily pulled Ning Shi out of the shop. The clothes that were praised by Ning Shua, Ying Fonglin, Jin Xianxia, and the shop assistants just now were thrown in the shop without even looking at them. Boss, this. At this time, a shop assistant finally reacted and looked at the clothes awkwardly. Ning Shua suppressed the surging emotions in her heart and calmed herself down. Return all the money that Ms. Zhuang just paid to her account. The shop assistant nodded repeatedly. Okay. Ying Fonglin looked at the direction in which Ning Shi and Zhuang Ke left with a surprised face. Shiwilo, what the hell is going on? Why is Zhuang Ke so nice to that country bumpkin Ning Shi? Jin Xianxia curled her lips. Who knows what kind of crooked tricks that bitch used? Ying Fonglin snorted coldly. Huh, what kind of family is the Zhuang family? They're not people she can associate with. If Zhuang Ke's two superiors find out that someone dares to lead their daughter astray, she will suffer. Hearing this, Ning Shiwilua's eyes suddenly lit up. If she planned it well, maybe she could take this opportunity to completely eliminate all future troubles. Otherwise, if Ning Shi really had any relationship with the Zhuang family, it would be troublesome. Zhuang Ke was happily shopping with Ning Shi when her phone rang. It was the latest message from the bank, showing that the money she had just paid at Histity was returned. What happened? It's nothing. The shop just refunded me the money I spent on the clothes. She naturally knew what Ning Shulua was thinking. There were too many people like her, so she did not take them to heart. However, there was one thing that caught her attention. Zhuang Ke seemed to have thought of something. She looked at Ning Shi and asked hesitantly, Cici, do you have any grudges with those people just now? Do you need help? Looking at Zhuang Ke's concerned eyes, Ning Shi felt warm in her heart. It's okay. He's just an insignificant person. If there's anything you need, you must let me know. All right. By the way, Xiaoxi, the clothes you're wearing are so beautiful. What brand is it? I heard them say something about Ling. Do you like this brand of clothes? Zhuang Ku'er's eyes were shining, and she looked like she was going to buy all of them for her. Ningxi chuckled. It's Zailing. It has a similar style to history, so we can be considered competitors. But this brand has just started and doesn't have the influence that history has now. Chapter 887. It doesn't matter. Liking is the most important thing. Let's go buy it. Zhuang Ku'er said excitedly. No need. Ningxi said. Why? In fact, you don't have to feel guilty. My family and I are very grateful to you for saving my grandpa. But it's disrespectful to give you money directly, so I just want to help you as much as I can. Ningxi said gently, I know what you mean. As I said, it's just a piece of cake. You don't have to worry about it. If you always treat me as your benefactor, I will really feel pressured. I'm really happy with you, and we get along well, so I want to make friends with you. Me too, me too. Zhuang Ku nodded repeatedly. So, just take it as a gift from me to your friend. Ningxi laughed. You really don't have to. Zailing is my own brand. Really? Zhuang Ku was surprised and delighted. Then, Ningxi and Zhuang Ku chatted and shopped as if they had endless topics to talk about. Before they knew it, it was already evening. They found a place to sit down and have dinner. Zhuang Ku listened to Ningxi telling her about the interesting things she had done abroad and some ingenious opportunities to establish Zailing Studio. Her eyes were full of yearning. Xiaoxi, I envy you so much. You live such a free and wonderful life. You have encountered so many interesting things. You have someone you like, and you have a dream and a goal to work hard for. Every day is so fulfilling. She didn't expect that she would be envied one day. Speaking of envy, you should be the one who should be envied by everyone, right? Now, although she was walking towards the light step by step, there was also darkness and despair behind her. Zhuang Ku gave a wry smile. Yes, I have everything and can get anything I want easily. But I've been doing everything step by step according to my family's expectations since I was a child. I don't know what I want at all, nor do I want to do anything in particular. The premise of everything I do is to abandon my selfishness and take family's honor as the premise. Isn't this a kind of tragedy? Everyone has their own troubles. Even the richest man in the world is the same. Just like how people know the temperature of the water they drink. She said, and couldn't help but think of Zhuang Rongguang. She suddenly realized that Zhuang Ku and Zhuang Rongguang were polar opposites. Zhuang Ku completely obeyed all the arrangements of her family and was raised to be the most perfect lady and socialite, while Zhuang Rongguang was completely rebellious, completely subverting the expectations of his family and growing up wantonly. After dinner, she took Zhuang Ku to the arcade city. It was hard to imagine that it was Zhuang Ku's first time in the video game city. Everything she saw was new. Hubby, I want that long-eared rabbit. Okay, wait. Hubby will help you. I'm not bragging. Your husband is an expert at picking up dolls. Hubby is the best. You can do it, hubby. What are they doing? Zhuang Ku looked curiously at the row of glass cabinets next to them. It was filled with all kinds of cute dolls. In front of one of them, a man stuffed a few pieces of hard skin into the hole, and then focused on pressing the red button on it. Pick up dolls, 1 chance for 1 coin. Want to play? She asked. Chapter 888. But I don't know how to... Zhuang Ku hesitated. It's okay. Try it. She stuffed a few coins in and taught Zhuang Ku. Well, Xiaoxi, which one do you like? I'll catch it for you. Zhuang Ku was eager to try. Unfortunately, Zhuang Ku was a bit unlucky. She didn't catch a single doll after putting in 10 coins. She almost cried. Ha, beautiful, you can't do that. There are techniques to catch dolls. Don't you know that you're just giving us money? The man next to her said in a proud tone after putting in 3 coins and catching a doll. Seeing that Ningxi and Zhuang Ku were both rare beauties, his eyes almost glued to them. His girlfriend was right next to him, but he dared to flirt with them. What do you think? Do you need my help? You bastard. You can't walk when you see a pretty girl, right? I'm not dead yet. Oh, I'm just helping you for your own good. The noise here soon attracted the attention of some single guys in the video arcade. Soon, several of them came up. After all, most of the people here were couples or boys. Girls like Ningxi and Xianxia, who were both beauties, were really rare. Beauty? Which one do you want? Let me help you. Get out of here. Your stinky hands. Beautiful sister, let me do it. I'm very good. I promise within 3 times, no. Within 2 times, I'll catch it for you. After her 18th failure, Xianxia was completely frustrated. She had been praised as smart and excellent since she was a child. She didn't expect that she would fail in such a small game. Moreover, she just said that she would catch a doll for Ningxi. It hurt her self-esteem. In addition, the boys next to her kept chattering and fawning on her, which made her feel even worse. Ningxi glanced at the teenagers who were obviously young and should be students. They were trying to hook up with girls. She continued to put in 12 coins unhurriedly. Let me do it. Okay. Xianxia nodded dejectedly and gave up her position. You point, and I'll catch it. Ningxi said to Xianxia, I want to catch that rabbit for you, but I just couldn't catch it. Xianxia said angrily. Okay. Ningxi glanced at the glass cabinet and pressed it down with a pa sound. Hey, beauty, you can't do that. Don't you know that there are techniques to catch dolls? That rabbit's position is very difficult to catch. Catch the one near the entrance. You pressed it too fast just now. You had to find the right time. Don't press it randomly. Hearing the noise, Ningxi turned her head and glanced at the youngsters beside her. Shut up, you're so noisy. Do you guys have too little homework? Why aren't you home so late? Oh, this beautiful sister is so fierce. But it's so cool. Beautiful sister, you caught him, you caught him. At this time, several people suddenly began to shout. Xianxia was also surprised. Xiaoxi, you really caught it. She had clearly just pressed it casually, but she really caught it. She was so lucky. Ningxi calmly took out the rabbit and stuffed it into Xianxia's arms. Then, she continued to catch. Then, the little pig, the little yellow chick, the little white sheep, and the little tiger. Ningxi actually used the 12 coins to catch a whole 12 zodiac animals. Behind her, the youngsters who were still clamoring looked at the plush dolls in Xianxia's arms. They were so shocked that their eyeballs almost fell out of their sockets. Chapter 889. Wow, sister, you're awesome. What a great chance. Goddess, please accept my kowtow. Can you teach me how to do it? I also want to learn. If I learn it, I won't have to worry about flirting with girls. Go back and do your homework, okay? You're still young, and you're already thinking about flirting with girls. Ningxi helped Xianxia get a few dolls, took her hand, and turned to leave. Xianxia looked at Ningxi with sparkling eyes, full of admiration. Behind her, the teenagers muttered, We're still young. What's wrong with that? You're a girl, and you're so good at flirting with girls. You're not giving a man a way out. After coming out of the arcade, Xianxia happily carried a bag of dolls that Ningxi had caught for her. Her face was flushed with excitement. Xiaoxi, I'm so happy today. Me too. Can we hang out again next time? Xianxia asked expectantly. Of course. Great. Xianxia was overjoyed. As they walked along the road, Xianxia stole a glance at Ningxi and then at her again. What's wrong? Ningxi asked. Xianxia immediately shook her head, but her face became redder and redder, as if she was thinking of something. Ningxi chuckled. Just say it. We're friends, aren't we? Xianxia hesitated and finally stopped. Then she stammered, Xiaoxi, I have a presumptuous request. Tell me, as long as I can do it. She looked at her and said without hesitation. Xianxia's slightly swaying eyes reflected the moonlight above her head. She looked at her expectantly and said, Can I see my male god? She raised her eyebrows slightly when she heard this. She was obviously taken aback. Meet her, Prince Charming? Did Xianxia mean she wanted to see her in men's clothes? If she wanted her to wear men's clothes, it wouldn't be difficult. However, Lu Tingxiao was a vinegar jar. If he accidentally found out about it, She would have to spend a lot of effort to appease him. Seeing that Ningxi did not speak, Zhuangke hurriedly apologized. I'm sorry. I know my request is too presumptuous. Just pretend I didn't say anything. Ningxi thought for a while and looked at Zhuangke carelessly. Of course you can. Moreover, you will have many opportunities to meet your idol in the future. Ning, she said in a joking tone. At what? Many opportunities? Zhuangke didn't quite understand what she meant. I just took a role in a new show recently. It's a girl dressed as a man, Ningxi replied. Really? Zhuangke was so excited that she didn't even care about her ladylike demeanor and screamed. Sure, this is a secret. You can't tell anyone. Well, I won't tell anyone, Zhuangke immediately said. When we start filming, I can tell the director that you're my friend and ask you to visit me. As long as it doesn't affect the filming, it shouldn't be a problem to not reveal the content of the filming. Zhuangke looked excited. Really? That was great. I will definitely not reveal it. Actually, I've always been curious about how the show is filmed. Seeing how happy Zhuangke was, Ningxi also heaved a sigh of relief. If this was the arrangement, it wouldn't be a one-on-one meeting. The devil wouldn't be angry, would he? Sigh. She had really racked her brains. Chapter 890. Xiaoxi, thank you. Thank you. I really like you. Zhuangke turned around and hugged her. There is nothing more delightful than being hugged by such a lovely girl. Ning, she smiled. I like you too. At this moment, a car's headlights shone over, and then a black Maybach slowly stopped beside the two of them. The car door opened and a pair of slender legs stepped out. Then Lu Tingxiao, who was covered in frost, suddenly appeared in front of her. At this moment, Ningxi almost knelt to the heavens. Damn it! Are you kidding me? Why did it happen again? Why? Why was she caught by the devil every time she did something bad? She was so tired. Ning, she hurriedly let go of Zhuangke. Lu Tingxiao, why are you here? Lu Tingxiao's face darkened. To pick you up. Ning, she suddenly remembered what Lu Tingxiao said to her last night. He could see her, but she was not allowed to cross the line. Now, she was slapped in the face as soon as she made that promise. I was going to send you home. Zhuangke was obviously unhappy to see Lu Tingxiao. She felt that Lu Tingxiao was not worthy of Xiaoxi at all. He was as cold and hard as a rock, and had a scary expression all day long. Xiaoxi was so pitiful. Was Xiaoxi really forced to be with him? The more Zhuangke thought about it, the more worried she became. Avoiding Lu Tingxiao, she pulled Ningxi aside and whispered, Xiaoxi, don't be afraid of him. If he bullies you, you must tell me. Don't force yourself. Although I can't do anything about it, I can ask my father and grandfather for help. Ningxi looked at Zhuangke gratefully, then turned her head and looked at the great demon king behind her, who was watching her whisper to Zhuangke and had a frightening expression on his face. No wonder Zhuangke suspected that she was being bullied when she saw him like that. However, in fact, he had been indulging and spoiling her from the beginning to the end, even to the point that he had no principles. Thank you, but don't worry. He won't bully me. Besides, I love him very much. I won't force myself to be bullied. I'm willing. When Lu Tingxiao heard this, his displeased expression turned into one of astonishment. It was the first time. The first time he heard Ningxi say something like this, she said she loved him. Happiness came so suddenly. Zhuangke had always found it hard to understand that Lu Tingxiao and Ningxi were a perfect match. At this moment, looking at Ningxi's extremely serious expression and the warmth in her eyes when she looked at Lu Tingxiao, he suddenly believed that the two of them really loved each other. I'm leaving. Let's hang out next time. Drive slowly. Ningxi said goodbye to Zhuangke. Zhuangke waved her hand reluctantly. Well, okay. While they were talking, Zhuangke's bag accidentally broke, and the dolls inside rolled all over the ground. Ningxi and Zhuangke. Lu Tingxiao bent down and picked up a rabbit. What are these? Holding a pile of dolls in her arms, Zhuangke said proudly. Xiaoxi, help me catch these dolls. Zhuangke Ke held a pile of dolls in her arms and said proudly, Xiaoxi caught them for me. This one won't do. Lu Tingxiao said. He actually kept the rabbit for himself and refused to return it. Not this one. Lu Tingxiao said and kept the rabbit for himself. Zhuang Ke stomped her feet. Hey! Lu Tingxiao pinched the rabbit expressionlessly. It's mine. Ning, she was speechless. Great Demon King, can you be a little more childish? Chapter 891. Downstairs of the apartment. Then I'll go up first. Good night. Ningxi was about to get out of the car when Lu Tingxiao suddenly reached out and grabbed her arm, stopping her from getting out of the car. Say it again. Huh? What did you say? Ningxi turned her head and looked at him, confused. What you said to Zhuang Ke, it just now. Lu Tingxiao stared at her, two clusters of sparks dancing in his cold eyes. What did I say to Zhuang Ke? Ningxi blinked, pretending to be confused. Zhuang Ke said I would bully you. In your answer, Lu Tingxiao said. The sparks gradually spread into a sea. Oh, about that. Ningxi touched her chin, trying to recall, then said, Thank you, but don't worry, he won't bully me. Also, you won't feel wronged or forced. Also, willingly? Lu Tingxiao pursed his lips tightly as he didn't hear the words he wanted to hear. It was obvious that he was in a bad mood. Ningxi finally couldn't help but laugh. It was rare to see Lu Tingxiao so cute. The next second, she suddenly leaned close to him. Her hoarse and low voice seemed to have a bewitching power. Accompanied by her warm breath, it rang in his ear. I love him very much. Then, before Lu Tingxiao could turn the tables, she turned around and ran away, waving her hands slyly as she ran. Oh yeah, Smith, Lu Tingxiao cursed under his breath as he looked at the one that ran away after teasing him. He glanced at the fluffy white rabbit plushie from the corner of his eye and pinched the rabbit's ear as if punishing it. In the next few days, Ningxi continued to follow up on the situation at SF Company, but was told that the person in charge was on a business trip and hadn't returned yet, so she had to put this matter aside for the time being. The good news was that she played the role of the first love of the male lead in Hour 18. Although she only appeared for a few minutes, it made her a little famous. After the movie ended, many people asked who played the role of the first love, but the result of the search on the internet turned out to be Liang Biqin. However, that face could not be Liang Biqin's no matter how he looked at it. Because there were too many people asking, the official Weibo of the film responded immediately. At the same time, the official Weibo account posted a stills of his first love in We Are 18 and a stills of Mengchang in the world, and tagged Ningxi and Jiangmai. After knowing who the actor was, everyone was stunned. The actress of First Love was actually the same person who played the role of Mengchanga, the demon concubine who brings disaster to the country and the world. In the world, Ningxi was seductive, enchanting, unruly, and hot-blooded. In addition, she was dressed in an ancient costume with heavy makeup. So, when she suddenly played a modern character, and it was such a pure and beautiful character, no one recognized her. Although a few of the audience had their suspicions, none of them dared to believe that it was really her. From the devastatingly beautiful Yao, concubine female general, to an 18-year-old young girl in the prime of her youth, such a huge leap was played by her without any sense of incongruity. She really was what she played. What made the fans even more excited was that the popular couple, Meng Chang'e and Sun Huanqing, had actually gotten together again in modern times. What was even more coincidental was that the ending of the two was a life and death separation, causing the netizens to sigh endlessly. At the same time, the couple's CP fans had grown once again. Chapter 892. When Han Momo knew that Ning, Shi, and Jiang Mai were in the same scene in this film, she went to the cinema to watch it 3 times just for these few minutes. There were many fans like Han Momo. Later, the producers even used the modern version of the world as a gimmick to attract the audience to the cinema. The investors also asked Shin Mian to give Ning Shi a big red packet as a thank you, and also hoped that she could cooperate with the promotion. Ningxi really didn't expect such an unexpected gain. However, she certainly wouldn't refuse such a win-win situation. She reposted the official Weibo post and followed it to several roadshows. However, amidst the praises, it was inevitable that there were some other voices mixed in. Gradually, there were also some negative comments on the internet. This role should have been played by Liang Biqin, right? Why did it become Ningxi in the end? Do you need to ask? Someone must have stolen the role. How shameless. She stole the role in order to curry favor with Jiang Mai. She must be crazy. She didn't even let go of a cameo. I really don't know what Jiang Mai sees in her. He's so stupid to be used by her. In fact, when Ningxi was interested in the cross-dressing drama, the investment of the script was only 10 million yuan. It was just a small production. With her fame, although it was impossible for her to become the leading actress in a big production, she could still fight for a small production like this one. Unexpectedly, after Liang Biqin took over the film, she suddenly made such a big scene. It was a modern drama with the highest investment in a gathering of stars. Obviously, Liang Biqin had hired a water army. With the support of Su Yimo, the future proprietress of Xianxia Entertainment, she crazily slandered Ningxi. Unfortunately, before Ningxi and Lin Jiji could do anything, Shen Mian had already come forward to refute the rumor. She said that Liang Biqin had unilaterally torn up the contract and stood them up, so she had asked Ningxi to come to their rescue. There was no such thing as stealing the role. She also severely criticized Liang Biqin's behavior and said that she would never use her in any of her movies in the future. In Xianxia Entertainment, Ningxi received a call from Lin Jiji and needed to go to the company. In the corridor, she ran into Liang Biqin and the others. The opposition between Ningxi and Su Yimo and her party was already on the table. As long as it wasn't a public place, there was no need to be polite, even if they met, so neither side had any intention of paying attention to the other. Ningxi just walked straight forward without looking sideways. Behind her, Liang Biqin deliberately raised her voice as if she was afraid that she couldn't hear her. Oh yes, did you know? That Shen Mian said that he would ban me and that he would never use me in his movies in the future. He's just a has-been director. Does he really think he's something? Isn't that so? Our 18-foot had such a huge publicity campaign, but they haven't even gotten back the money yet. You don't even know how to find a stronger backer. When Biqin's new movie comes out, Shen Mian's era will almost be over. By the way, what has Ningxi been busy with recently? Have you accepted any new roles? She's just tied to Jiang Mai to promote Shen Mian's lousy movie. I haven't heard of any new roles. I think even if she did, it would be a mediocre one. If she had accepted a big production, it would have been publicized all over the world. Chapter 893. When they arrived at the company, Lin Jiji informed Ningxi of the shooting schedule and time of the new show and asked her to go back and prepare. A few days later, it was finally the day of the shooting. Because it was Ningxi's first day there, she needed to try on her costume. In addition, her makeup was special, so it would take more time. So, Ningxi deliberately went to the set a lot earlier. As the female lead, Ningxi had a separate makeup room, and the crew specially assigned a special makeup artist for her. After a while, Shun Ha-chun, who played the male lead, and Qi Fong, who played the third male lead, arrived one after another. After greeting each other and having their makeup done, they sat on the side and waited. Both of them looked young, in their early 20s. Both of them were very good-looking. Perhaps because they had not been exposed to the entertainment industry, they naturally exuded a youthful aura. The rarest thing was that in the entertainment industry, where plastic surgery was rampant, both of their looks were very recognizable. Shen Hanshin came from a well-off family and had been doted on since he was a child. At this moment, he was lying on the chair with his eyes slightly closed. There was a faint trace of Jiang Mai's shadow on him. Because of his dazzling appearance and flamboyant temperament, he was like a glowing object that could easily attract the attention of girls. It was very fitting for the image of the male lead in the show. Qi Fong, on the other hand, looked like a young boy. In fact, he was not very old, only 19 years old. When he spoke, Two small canine teeth were faintly visible, which was very cute. Probably because his image was not good enough. He had not found a suitable role after signing with the company for more than a year. His agent was his aunt, who had always taken good care of him and was reluctant to randomly arrange a role for him. Until he auditioned for the third male lead in Shun Mion's new show, Dream Seeker. Although it was only the third male lead, the director was Shun Mion, who was known as the God of Machines. When his aunt found out that he had passed the interview, she was ecstatic and immediately finalized the contract. Hey, Brother Chun, I heard that the female lead is a great beauty. I wonder if she is as beautiful in real life as in a movie. After all, Chi Fong was young and could not stay still. He could not help but start a conversation with Shen Hanshan. Shen Hanshan still closed his eyes and did not speak, as if he was not interested. Although he was also a newcomer, he was different from Chi Fong. He was a contracted actor of Fengxing Media, one of the three giants in the entertainment industry. He had been trained professionally for a long time, and the company's goal was to create a second Jiangmai. Therefore, Shen Hanshan, who had a background in resources, was inevitably arrogant. He did not want to talk to Chi Fong and did not want to talk with him. He was even more disdainful of the female lead who was being bragged about. She was just a third-rate actress who played a supporting role. Even though she was the female lead, she was still the same as the others. She was just a supporting role for him. Plus, he had already discussed it with his manager. If the woman's acting was really terrible, he would quit the cast even if he had to break the contract. For now, he could only trust Shun Mion's judgment. Previously, during their discussion, her agent had been analyzing the situation with him. She speculated that Shun Mion's insistence on filming on her own and not accepting any investments or roles meant that she had a trump card. Otherwise, she wouldn't have dared to do what she did only, and who knew what. Chapter 894. Chi Xin was more mature and didn't mind Shen Hanshan's cold attitude. She sighed and murmured worriedly, I don't know what the director is thinking. He found such a woman to play the female lead role. When the time comes, how girly will the male lead be? Will this show really be popular? After all, this was his first show, and it was related to his future. Back then, Shun Mion had indeed made a lot of people famous, especially the classic stars Moon and Sunday. Even the male lead in the show became popular. However, things were different now. It was a fact that Shin Mion had been going downhill all these years, not to mention that the investment for this show was so small. Sigh. Forget it. He was just a newcomer. It was good enough that he had a role, especially with a famous director like Shin Mion. As for the rest, it was up to fate and luck. The entertainment industry was a place where luck was important. The two of them sat for a while before the third female lead, Ji Yumeng, arrived. Wow, so beautiful. Chi Fong looked at the newcomer and couldn't help but exclaim. Shen Hanshan raised his eyelids and took a few more glances. Ji Yumeng was indeed beautiful, and she had a lively, cute, and pure temperament. It was easy to arouse a man's desire to protect her. However, the beauty looked a little unhappy at the moment. She walked forward quickly with a huff, and her manager followed behind her, wiping away her sweat and trying to persuade her in a low voice. I already said I don't want to play the third female lead. Even a vixen like Ning, she can play the female lead. Why can't I? Lower your voice, my little ancestor. This is a set, not your home. Are you afraid that people won't hear you by speaking so loudly? If they hear me, then they hear me. I'm just not convinced. Last time, I saw Shun Mion speak up for that woman on the internet. I don't even know how she became the female lead. Shut up. Be careful what you say outside. How many times have I told you? Don't talk about others. Don't you know your own situation? You definitely can't handle the female lead, and you're not even qualified to play the second female lead. The third female lead is the most suitable role for you. Do you think it's easy to play the female lead in this show? This kind of role is pleasing to the eye, but if you don't pay attention, you'll become a black mark. After being reprimanded, Ji Yumeng temporarily suppressed her resentment. Her gaze fell on Shan Hanshan and Chi Fong, two handsome men with different temperaments, but equally pleasing to the eye. Her eyes lit up and her expression softened. Which girl of this age wouldn't like to act with a handsome guy? Ji Yumeng walked over and greeted them. Hello, I'm Ji Yumeng. Hello, hello, I am Qi Fong. Xianxia. Xianxia. I've heard of you. The most handsome guy in Beijing film, right? I've heard a lot about you. Qi Fong, were you the bassist of the band Joy? I have a sister who likes you very much. She thinks that you are very cute. Ha ha. I'm always praised for being cute, but why aren't there any beauties praising me for being handsome? Beauty G, you're not bad either. I heard that you were the first to enter Beijing Film Academy. When Ji Yumeng wasn't angry or throwing a tantrum, she was quite easy to get along with. Because of the lively and cheerful Ji Yumeng's addition, and the fact that the three of them were all young people, they quickly got along. Sigh. It seems that Director Shun is going to use our looks to prop up this show. Qi Fong spread out his hands and teased. Ji Yumeng puffed her cheeks. I'm so afraid that I won't be able to act. Even if she's a woman dressed as a man, she's still a woman. I'm drooling over a woman, and I even have to sit on her lap for today's scene. Oh my God, just thinking about it gives me goosebumps. Chapter 895. Qi Fong burst out laughing and secretly glanced at Xianxia. You should be content. There's someone here who's even more miserable than you. Ji Yumeng nodded and couldn't help but laugh. That's right. Hanshin has to pretend that he can't tell that a sissy is a man. He calls him brother and talks about love. Xianxin's expression didn't look too good as he listened. The few of them were chatting in full swing when a young man walked in their direction. That person had a head of slightly messy black hair and bangs that covered some of his eyes. He was wearing a slightly exaggerated tattered pair of jeans, a leather motorcycle jacket, and black Martin boots. His whole body exuded a sharp and penetrating aura. Shen Mian, who was in the middle of setting up the set, saw the man and walked up to talk to him. After seeing Shen Mian, the young man's arrogant aura disappeared. He lowered his eyes and listened attentively, nodding from time to time. The director's assistant attentively handed him a bottle of water. The man reached out to take it and smiled gratefully at the girl. When this man was talking to the director, his expression did not change. However, when his gaze fell on the girl who handed him the water, the atmosphere around him suddenly changed. It was warmer than the winter sun, softer than the spring water, and so doting that it could drown a person to death in. The little assistant covered her reddened face and ran away. The moment she saw the man, Ji Yumeng suddenly stopped talking. After a long while, she stammered, "Who is that?" "The person who is talking to the director." The male lead, the third male lead, and the third female lead are all here. The second female lead will join the cast in a few days. Only the female lead and the second male lead haven't arrived yet. So, it should be the second male lead, Kamingyu, Qi Fong guessed. Then, the instinctive rejection of those who were stronger than him made him suddenly vigilant. Fuck, he wasn't the handsome type to begin with. It was bad enough that the male lead, Shun Han, was suppressing him. Now that the second male lead was also so handsome, how could he still have a sense of existence in this film? Kamingyu? At that moment, Shun Han's expression completely changed. He suddenly felt a strong sense of danger. He had inquired about the lead actors in advance. Ku Mingyu's appearance and temperament were clearly very ordinary. How could this be? Was there a mistake somewhere? However, just as he was comforting himself, the director had already walked in their direction with the man. Shin Mian clapped her hands and beckoned him over. Come, come, let me introduce you. Shun Han's expression instantly tensed up. He didn't think that it would really be the second male lead. As the saying goes, two tigers cannot share one mountain, but Shin Mian found someone like this to play the second male lead. What was the meaning of this? Ji Yumeng, whose gaze had been lingering on Shun Han, was now completely glued to the man in front of her. She was still immersed in the man's gentle smile. This is Shun Han, who plays the male lead. This is Qi Fong, one of the male lead's roommates. This is Ji Yumeng, who plays the female lead's best friend. Shen Mian introduced them to Ning Shi one by one, then looked at the other three and said, "This is Ning Shi, the female lead of our movie." Chapter 896. What? Chi Fong was about to say hello to Kun Mingyu when he heard the director's last words. He was dumbfounded and even picked his ears. Director, what did you just say? Ji Yumeng looked suspicious. Director, did you make a mistake? Isn't he the second male lead, Kun Mingyu? Shen Mian looked at the three young people, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Who told you he's the second male lead? Shen Hanshun looked at the man in front of him with a dull expression. She's Ningxi? Chi Fong asked. Is she the female lead? Ji Yuming said. Director, are you sure? Stop fooling around, director. Shen Mian shook her head with a smile. Ningxi explained it to them. Ningxi looked innocent. How do you want me to explain? It took me 2 hours to get the makeup done. She couldn't ask her to change into women's clothes for them to see. Could she? Shen Mian coughed. She really couldn't refute that. How could she be the female lead? Also, she doesn't look like Ningxi. Okay, she does look a little like Ningxi, but something's wrong. Something's wrong. Director, you didn't find a man to play the female lead, did you? Ji Yuming's imagination ran wild. Chi Fong and Shen Hanxun thought about this possibility seriously. Shen Mian's face darkened. We're all kids, so whimsical nowadays. Ningxi put a hand on her forehead and gave a helpless and indulgent smile. Then she picked up Ji Yuming's hand. Ji Yuming's heart suddenly raced. What are you doing? Chi Fong's eyes widened in displeasure. Fuck, how could this brat hold a girl's hand so casually? I haven't even held a girl's hand yet. Director, don't you care? However, the next second, Ningxi took Ji Yuming's hand and pressed it against her chest through her clothes. She said in a low voice, Okay. Yes. Breasts. Ji Yumeng, who was pressing against Ningxi's chest, almost cried. You're really a woman. You're really the female lead. Although he could feel that she had wrapped a strip of cloth around her chest, at such a close distance, he could still clearly feel the soft curve of her breasts. Oh, fuck, we're both women. You have it. I have it too. He often attacked her chest with his roommates. How could she be so shy after just a light touch? Not to mention Ji Yumeng. Even Chi Fong's eyes widened and his face turned red. Shen Hanshun coughed lightly, looking a little uncomfortable. Well, 2 tigers cannot live on the same mountain, unless there is a male and a female. Director Shun was very scientific. Shen Mian knocked Ningxi's head speechlessly. That's enough. Don't mess around. Ningxi blinked her eyes. How was she fooling around? This was indeed the fastest and most effective way to prove it. Sorry, I'm late. At this time, a panting voice came from behind. The real Kun Mingyu had arrived. Just as they had expected, the second male lead, Kun Mingyu, looked rather ordinary. He had a gentle aura and wasn't aggressive at all. He didn't look like Ningxi at all. When his aura was fully unleashed, he was practically a walking flirt machine. His hormones were off the charts. After confirming that she was a woman, Shen Hanxun looked at Ji Yuming's excited expression and the director's assistant, who kept sneaking glances at them. Although he still felt uncomfortable, he relaxed a little. Women were still women. No matter how well they acted as men, they still had to act. How could they steal the limelight from him, the male lead? He was very confident in himself. Chapter 897. After Ku Mingyu's arrival, everyone got to know each other again. Ku Mingyu was more introverted. After talking to everyone for a while, he quietly sat in the corner and read the script. After a while, the props were finally set up. Okay, everyone get ready. We're starting now. Ningxi, Ji Yumeng, get ready. Shen Mian said. The first scene was about the female lead's best friend being dumped by a scumbag, and the female lead comforted her. The female lead's real name was Ji Feishue, and she was currently replacing her brother, Ji Feibai. The secret that she was a woman was only known by her best friend, Ning Xiaoming. 3, 2, 1. Action. After the script was finished, the filming officially began. On the sofa in the living room, Ji Feishue had just finished showering and was wearing loose men's pajamas. His wet hair was a little messy, and his body was still steaming from the shower. He took a bottle of water from the fridge, sat on the sofa, and turned on the TV. Because she had been pretending to be a man for a long time, Feishue's every move was almost like a man's. He didn't look like a woman at all, and he raised his head to drink the water. As he watched the TV, the living room door was pushed open from the outside. Ning Xiaoming was back. Feishue greeted her casually as usual. "You're back." Then, the camera switched to Ji Yumeng. "Yeah." Ning Xiaoming didn't look up and only responded sullenly. She was obviously in a bad mood. Although she didn't say anything, Feishue immediately sensed that something was wrong with her and frowned. "What's wrong?" Ning Xiaoming dragged her feet slowly to Feishue and didn't say a word. A few seconds later, Ning Xiaoming's shoulders trembled slightly and her body trembled more and more violently. The next second, tears fell onto the floor one after another. "Camera 3, close up," Shen Mian said, staring at the camera without blinking. Shen Hanshun, Qi Fong, and Ke Mingyu were all watching the scene intently. In the camera, Ji Yumeng stood in front of Ning, she with her head lowered and her face hidden. But from the details of her body, it was obvious how sad she was. Qi Fong sighed. "She's indeed a top student. She's amazing." At this moment, she moved. Ning Xiaoming didn't say anything, but Feishue already knew what was going on. With a knowing expression, he grabbed Ning Xiaoming's hand and pulled her onto his lap. He wiped away her tears with his fingertips and said in a helpless tone, "Baby, don't be sad. Isn't it just a man? Where's your mother? She didn't give birth to you to be defiled by others, but to let you defile others." The moment she heard this, Ji Yuming felt as if something had struck her heart heavily. Ningxi's gentle expression and comforting words immediately brought out the deepest grievance and pain in her heart and magnified it infinitely. She thought of her cheating ex-boyfriend. She thought of how he abandoned her to be with an already famous female artist in order to climb up the social ladder. She thought of that rainy night when she walked home alone. From beginning to end, she was alone. The next morning, she had to go to the company for training with a high fever. No one hugged her and comforted her. No one even said to her, "Your mother gave birth to you so beautiful not to let you be defiled by others, but to let you defile the others." Chapter 898. In an instant, Ji Yuming's tears flowed down like a broken dam. They were silent but heartbreaking, as if all the grievances she had suppressed for a long time had suddenly come gushing out along with her tears. Sometimes, the scariest thing was to be cared for. A few female staff members who were watching from the sidelines even began to cry. Ji Yuming's crying was too contagious. Ningxi gently stroked Ji Yuming's back and comforted her. Okay, don't cry. You look beautiful when you cry, but my heart aches. Very good. Done." Shen Mian shouted with satisfaction. Done. The first scene was finished in one take, and both of them performed so well. It was a good sign. However, even though Shen Mian had shouted cut, Ji Yumeng didn't stop. She sat in Ningxi's arms and cried her heart out. She couldn't push her away at this time, so she continued to comfort her and pat her head. Shen Mian's mouth twitched. She glanced at Ningxi and said, "Newcomers have low self-control. Take it easy." Ningxi was speechless. Is this my fault again? Actors' acting styles were divided into experiential and expressive. Shen Hanxin and Ji Yumeng, who were trained in acting, mostly learned expressive techniques from school. Experiential actors, on the other hand, had higher requirements for talent. They couldn't be taught by words and actions. Only 1 in 10 million people could do it. Ningxi belonged to the latter. She was a classic experiential actor. When acting, she could completely transform herself into another person, even reaching the realm of being one with nature. However, there were very few people like Ningxi. Although these newcomers were talented, they had no experience. If he were to rely on himself as a director, it would take him at least a year or two to pass. His first film had been shot on and off for 2 whole years. Nowadays, most films took 2 or 3 months, and some are even released after a few days. No one would spend so much time on a film. He was prepared to fight a long battle for this film, but now it seemed the time could be greatly reduced. With Ningxi, it was like having a powerful cheating device. She could make the newcomers who acted with her quickly get into character and show their acting skills to the extreme. Just now, Ji Yuming's performance was inspired by Ningxi's acting skills. She used her own experience to play the characters in the play, which was almost equivalent to an experiential performance. Ji Yuming didn't know what was wrong with her. She had been acting perfectly fine, but she had suddenly lost control. By the time she came back to her senses, Ningxi was still comforting her gently, without the slightest bit of impatience. Even her shoulder was wet from her tears. Ji Yuming jumped up in embarrassment. I'm sorry, it's okay. Ningxi smiled good-naturedly and touched her head. You acted very well just now. In an instant, Ji Yuming's face flushed red from being patted on the head. Her face was so hot that an egg could be boiled, mama. She was about to bend into a boomerang. Not far away, Kumingyu's eyes, which had always been calm, clearly shook a few times. Xianxia frowned and had a thoughtful expression. Qi Feng, on the other hand, had black lines on his forehead and the corners of his mouth twitching. Fuck, who was the one who said that sitting on a woman's lap was too disgusting? He saw that she was so happy sitting there that she couldn't bear to get off, but now she was facing a woman with an expression of a young girl yearning for love. What was she doing? Did she think handsome men like them were dead? Chapter 899. After being praised by Ningxi, Ji Yuming immediately ran to the camera with her hands covering her face. Director, can I see what I just shot? Sure. Shen Mian naturally agreed. Ji Yuming rewatched the footage several times, and the more she watched, the brighter her eyes became. Oh my God, I acted so well just now. In addition to being excited by her own performance, Ningxi sat on her lap and comforted her softly in the video, which made her heart race. Especially the moment when Ningxi held her hand and pulled her down, she was so excited. At this time, Qi Feng also poked his head over to take a look. Some of the crew members cried with you just now. No wonder she's the #1 of Beijing film. She's already here. Ji Yuming's sudden performance naturally doubled the pressure on the rest of them. They were all newcomers and had similar beginnings, so it was inevitable that they would be compared to each other. They were also secretly competing with each other. Ji Yuming shook her head when she heard this, and her eyes glowed with a strange light. I've always been very confident in my acting skills, but there's no way I could act this well on my own. It's all because of Senior Ningxi. The feeling of acting with her is really amazing. I can't describe that feeling. It was as if a pair of hands were carefully holding me, guiding me step by step to the right place, to a higher place, not too fast, not too slow. I could feel that she was deliberately helping me get into character. Qi Feng scratched his head. Isn't that a bit too unbelievable? I've seen her under the heavens, and I admit that her acting skills are not bad, but there are many capable people in the entertainment industry. Behind the two of them, Xianxia also glanced at the video. After seeing it with his own eyes, he also admitted that this woman's acting skills were not bad, but Ji Yuming's description was a bit too exaggerated. At most, this woman had an advantage in terms of appearance, so she was more like a man. Ji Yuming waved her hand. Oh, I can't describe it with words. Anyway, you'll know when you act with her later. She's really nice. It feels really good to act with her. It's a pity that I don't have a scene with the lead actress today. Qi Feng mumbled. Otherwise, he would really want to experience Ji Yuming's extravagant praise. Next, Xianxia would definitely have a scene with Ningxi. In addition, the supporting actor Kumingyu would also have a scene with Ningxi. After the first scene, Ningxi went to the makeup room to change her clothes for the next scene. She also needed to make some slight changes to her makeup. Yiqiu, the makeup artist, had already prepared all the clothes. Seeing Ningxi come in, she immediately put down the hanger in her hand and walked over. Have you finished shooting the first scene? So fast. Yes, it's over. We'll have to thank you for the next scene. Yes, it is. We'll have to thank you for the next scene. Ji Yi Shi's Hua, the Yi, the Mo family's Yan's Hua. After the makeup, Yu Yi Ji Chun, Yi Chio said, "This you can do, Ji Tian Ji Wan, Ming Shan is Yi Shi Chio Ji." Yin said, "Yin Shi Muemi Shan, this Ji is a Mo. Yi Jing Yi, okay? Is the size okay?" Yi Chio waited outside the fitting room for a while, then asked, "Yes." Following Ning Shi's answer, a fair and slender finger lifted the curtain, and Ning Shi, who had changed, appeared in front of Yi Chio. Chapter 900. He was wearing a British-style three-piece suit with a dark blue tie and a retro pocket watch with a silver pouch hanging in front of his chest. As the bead curtain opened and closed, Yi Chio felt as if she was looking at a noble young master from the last century. "I'll help you tidy up." Yi Chio was inexplicably nervous, as if she was afraid of breaking some beautiful dream. "Thank you, Sister Yi." Ning Shi nodded and opened her arms slightly. She looked as if she was going to hug Yi Chio. Yi Chio's face heated up. She immediately reached out to Ning Shi's collar and helped her tidy up her clothes, tie, and accessories. At this time, hurried footsteps came from outside the door all the way into the room, and then suddenly stopped in front of Ning Shi. Although the tone was still very polite, there was a trace of displeasure in it. "Sister Yi, let me do this kind of thing." Xiao Tao had just gone out to buy some desserts to reward the crew, but she didn't expect to see someone flirting with her boss as soon as she came back. This makeup artist had already tried to do something to Sister Shi when she was doing makeup in the morning. She couldn't stand it. "I'm Ning Shi's personal makeup artist. This is my responsibility," Yi Chio said unhurriedly. After all, he was older, so he was more imposing than Xiao Tao. "The makeup artist can do the makeup, and I'll do the clothes. Of course, I'm in charge of the clothes. I'm in charge of all her styles. Although you're her assistant, professional issues should be handled by professionals." But Xiao Tao obviously couldn't win against Yi Chio. She looked at Ning Shi with tears in her eyes. Seeing that the atmosphere was about to explode, Ning Shi held Yi Chio's shoulder and sat down. "Sister Yi, you've been tired for a long time. Take a rest. Let Xiao Tao help you. If she does something wrong, please teach her." With just one sentence, both of them were appeased. Xiao Tao happily took over Yi Chio's position. Ning Shi was still standing on her side and speaking for her. Ning Shi personally brought Yi Chio a glass of water, and her tone was full of care and trust. Yi Chio sat down on the chair, happily. "The tie is still a bit crooked. I'll fix it again. The back is wrinkled. I'll take it off and iron it." Yi Chio was still a little excited when he recalled Ning Shi's makeup in the morning. When she first saw Ning Shi with her professional eyes, she only felt that with Ning Shi's perfect facial features, even if she dressed up as a man, her delicate face shape could make her gender indistinguishable. But when Ning Shi walked out of the fitting room after putting on makeup and changing clothes, she was completely dumbfounded. She was clearly the one who had turned her into this. She had only gone in to change her clothes and come out. She was still the same person, but why did she give off a completely different feeling? A beautiful woman had actually turned into a living evildoer under her hands. Although she had observed Ning Shi's facial features and judged that she wouldn't look too ugly if she dressed up as a man, she had never expected that she would be so stunning at this moment. She just stood there quietly, letting Xiao Tao bustle around her. Her entire body exuded a sense of leisure and laziness, but it was as if she had absorbed the radiance of the stars, making it impossible for others to look away. After Ning, she had completely tidied herself up. Yi Chio hugged the glass of water, a little dazed. A minute of silence for the male lead. Chapter 901. Xiao Tao held her hands and stood a few steps away from Ning Shi. A minute of silence for all the male characters in the play. "Sister Shi, Pooh, Brother Shi, why didn't I know that you were so handsome in men's clothes until now?" Ning Shi raised her eyebrows. "Don't I look good in anything?" "Don't. Brother Shi, don't look at me like that." Xiao Tao covered her chest with her hands, as if she was about to be flirted to death. Ning Shi chuckled and looked at herself in the mirror. Then she looked at Yi Chio behind her. "Thank you, Sister Yi. The makeup is perfect." Yiqiu met Ning Shi's eyes in the mirror, and her eyes were full of appreciation. You're welcome. It's because you have a good foundation. The contour is perfect without any flaws, and your skin is so good that I can't show it. Based on her professional experience, she could tell that Ning Shi had never had plastic surgery. It was completely natural. Besides, wasn't this person's acting too good? She was a real woman, but she didn't feel strange at all when playing a man. What was even more exaggerated was that she didn't feel that Ning Shi was acting at all. Instead, she felt that Ning Shi was like this. That wanton and romantic charm was completely emitted from within her, and it was an act. Outside, Xianxia had also changed his clothes. Xianxia had brought his own makeup artist, whose skills weren't inferior to Yiqiu's. After the makeup was applied, his originally blessed face became even more dazzling, as if it had been sculpted by the hands of God. There were very few people in the entertainment industry who had this kind of appearance. My God, Hanshin is so handsome in formal clothes. He's so handsome. Jiameng was excited. The staff and the extras all looked at him in astonishment. Wow, he is so handsome. Is he the male lead? Yes. It is said that he is the trump card of Fengxing Media, and his appearance is as good as Jiang Mai's. No wonder director Shun likes him at first sight. In the corner, Qi Fong curled his lips. He hated men who were more handsome than him the most, even though he had a cute image. But who asked something like a face to be born with? In order to seek comfort, he silently ran to stand with Kumingyu, who was even more miserable than him. In any case, he was quite recognizable. Cuteness was also a characteristic, but Kumingyu, it wasn't that he was ugly, but he was too ordinary. He was the kind of ordinary that couldn't be found in a crowd. Although the second male lead in the drama was not outstanding, wouldn't it be too casual to find such an ordinary person to play the second male lead? However, after seeing the way Shin Mian chose Ning Shi, he didn't dare to judge Shin Mian's thoughts. Even though I'm gay, I have to admit that Shun Hanshin's face is really good. No wonder his company wants to make him the second Jiang Mai. Some people are born to do this, and it's the fate of the male lead. Qi Fong shook his head and sighed, hoping to get Kumingyu's approval. Kumingyu leaned against the pillar and glanced in Shun Hanshin's direction. His expression was indifferent, and he didn't have any special reaction. Shun Mian looked Shun Hanshin up and down with a satisfied expression, but there was a trace of imperceptible worry in her eyes. She beckoned Shin Hanshin over and told him about the scene. There are not many lines in this scene, and there is no big plot, but it is very difficult. Chapter 902. This scene is the first scene of the movie. Because of the preconceived notions, this scene can be said to be the first scene to establish the audience's influence on you. So, you must display your greatest charm and capture the audience's heart with one look. To put it bluntly, you must act cool, don't you? Shimian talked for a long time, but in the end, she only had one core idea. This show had to amaze the audience. Moreover, it had to be the male lead and the cross-dressing male lead. The two of them had to be evenly matched. Shun Hanshin listened to Shin Mian's nagging for a long time and responded with a few words, but he didn't think much of it. Instead of saying so much to him, he might as well talk to Ning Shi. Ning Shi should be the one he was most worried about, right? Naturally, Shin Mian noticed the young man's nonchalant expression. She looked a little helpless. She hoped that he could still be this relaxed and confident later. At this time, the assistant next to the director suddenly exclaimed, and a prop in her hand fell to the ground with a plop. The others subconsciously followed her gaze, and then saw Ning Shi, who had changed her clothes and was walking towards them. The eyes of the actors who saw Ning Shi for the first time almost popped out. There are so many handsome guys in this crew. Who is this? Aren't there only male and female leads in this scene? It can't be the female lead, right? Congratulations, you guessed it right. She is the heroine Ning Shi. Wow, Senior looks so handsome in this. It's perfect. Ji Yuming's gaze immediately shifted to Ning Shi. She kept calling Ning Shi Senior, completely unlike the way she had complained to her agent half a day ago. Shen Mian looked at Ning Shi's outfit and nodded in satisfaction. He had spent a lot of money on costumes and props for this movie, and it seemed that the money was well spent. Qi Fang glanced at him and mumbled softly, "It's all right. I still think Han Shun is more handsome." The moment he saw Ning Shi, although Shan Hanchun's expression tensed up, he wasn't too nervous. After all, he was already mentally prepared. Ning Shi's men's clothing was indeed stunning, but when she stood next to him, she would definitely not be able to steal his limelight. He was tall enough to crush her. Looking at Shun Hanchun's confident expression, Shen Mian shook her head and didn't say anything. "Since you're here, let's get ready to start." Hearing Shun Mian's words, everyone stopped talking and got into position. Action! With a pa sound, all the lights in the banquet hall were switched on. A small band was playing melodious music in the middle of the stage. Shen Hanchun was dressed in a black suit. His tall and slender figure stood at the end of the spiral staircase. On his left, Ning Shi, who was dressed in white, stood quietly behind him. Under everyone's astonished gazes, the two of them walked down the stairs one after another. Shen Hanchun's clothes were black, and the style was simpler and more refined than Ning Shi's. At this moment, his hair was tied behind his head, and he was tidying up his cuffs with his eyes lowered. His entire body emitted an arrogant and domineering aura, and his expression didn't change in the slightest in the face of everyone's astonished gazes. He was exactly the noble and unreachable young master Xianxia in the script. At this moment, Shan Hanchun turned around and whispered something to Ning Shi according to the script in the movie. Ning Shi, who was originally following behind him and had no sense of existence because of him, glanced sideways at him after hearing the male lead's words and curled her lips into a faint smile. That smile bloomed layer by layer, turning into a carefree and unrestrained romantic charm. In an instant, all the extras gasped, and their gazes all fell on her. Even Shan Hanchun himself was stunned on the spot. Chapter 903. Everyone lost control of themselves. As expected, the scene failed miserably. When Shen Mian yelled for them to start again, everyone was still confused and didn't realize what had just happened. Especially Shan Hanchun. He was the closest to Ning Shi, so he was naturally the most shocked. In all fairness, he admitted that Ning Shi was good in men's clothing, but it wasn't good enough to steal his limelight. When the two of them appeared together, everyone's eyes were on him. However, at the moment when Ning Shi looked at him with a faint smile, her temperament suddenly changed. She was so casual that she attracted everyone's attention. How could this be? Help. Help me. My legs seem to be a little weak. Ji Yumeng reached out to Qi Fang, unable to control herself. "Oh, did you see that? Senior is so charming." In fact, Han Shun is indeed more outstanding in terms of appearance. But the moment Senior looked up and smiled, he was so fucking beautiful. No matter how handsome the others are, they're just like floating clouds. Qi Fang's face darkened. He didn't want to admit that just now, as a man, his heart raced. Looking at the staff and extras, there were also many men who were stunned by the scene just now. That kind of elegance had nothing to do with gender. Shen Mian, on the other hand, was very calm. She looked as if she had expected this. She walked to Shen Hanchun's side and continued to talk to him. She said in a joking tone, "Hanchun, work hard. Don't let a girl steal your thunder." Shen Hanchun nodded. This time, he didn't dare to let his guard down. He finally understood why Shen Mian said so much to him. "Everyone, adjust yourselves. Let's do it again." Shen Mian said to the extras, "You guys performed very well just now. That's it. You have to be amazed and maintain this rhythm. Just don't stare at one person. It's these two people who are stunning you. One is arrogant and domineering, and the other is carefree and uninhibited. Each has their own merits, and they're evenly matched." Although she said so much, Shen Mian knew that the key was still Shen Hanchun. He had to show that he was as good as Ning Shi, so the extras would give the most appropriate response. After all, the acting skills of the extras could not be too demanding. It would be best if they could perform naturally and realistically. Actually, if this scene could be done in one go, the effect would be the best. If it was done a second time, The extras would be mentally prepared, and the effect would be reduced. What a pity. After a short break, the second shoot began. All right, everyone get ready. The next match is about to begin. Xianxia informed all the departments. Elder Brother Shi, the director is calling. Go quickly. Come on, Brother Shi. She didn't know when the crew started calling Ning's Cece brother like Xiao Tao. Ning, she returned everyone a smile, handed the thermos cup in her hand to Xiao Tao, and returned the thermos bag to Ji Yuming. Then, she walked toward the set. Xianxia took a deep breath and steadied his mind. Just now, he was just too shocked, so he lost his composure. This time, he was prepared, so he definitely wouldn't do it again. He stared fixedly at Ning, who was strolling leisurely across from him, closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, his posture and bearing were even more noble and imposing. Chapter 904. The melodious music started playing again, and the guests downstairs began to laugh and chat. Xianxia walked down the stairs with steady steps. His walking posture had been specially trained, and he was even more attentive at this moment. His performance was obviously better than last time. His entire demeanor was dignified, and his aura was imposing. The extras also cooperated with him and revealed expressions of amazement. After walking downstairs, Xianxia took the wine glass from the waiter's hand, then turned around naturally and spoke to Ning Shi, who was beside him. There were no lines in this speech. It only needed to show that the male lead was talking to the female lead. As for what exactly was said, the audience could guess for themselves. And what the audience would guess depended on the performance of the actors themselves. This time, Ning Shi raised her eyebrows and looked at Xianxia with a faint smile. Her lips curled up into a faint smile that absorbed all the light in the sky. In an instant, the people next to her looked dim. There would be no harm if there was no comparison. Xianxia's performance just now was not bad, but with Ning Shi's comparison, the domineering and handsome male lead now felt that his aura was too weak. They even felt that he was deliberately putting on an act, like a peacock spreading its tail. On the other hand, Ning Shi didn't even try to attract anyone's attention, but everyone couldn't take their eyes off her. Not only that, everyone realized that there was a spark hidden in the female lead's wanton and romantic eyes. That was the unspeakable feeling she had for Xianxia that were buried deep in her heart. This time, Ning Shi's performance wasn't just simply stunning. It was more layered, and she instantly brought the audience into the scene. The two of them were like clouds and mud. There was no doubt that this time, it was still a NG. Even Xianxia was a little surprised. Her eyes were filled with the expression of someone who had picked up a treasure. She thought that Ning Shi's performance just now was already stunning, but she didn't expect that she wasn't serious at all. Xianxia felt a strong sense of palpitation, as if he was facing an insurmountable mountain. From a moment he chose this industry, everyone told him that with his talent, he was simply born for the entertainment industry and that he would definitely become famous. But at this moment, he finally understood what it meant to truly live for the entertainment industry. Seeing Xianxia's expression, Xianxia was afraid that he would lose his composure. She walked over with the script and explained the scene to him again. "Hanxian, your performance just now has improved a lot. Try harder and maintain this rhythm. You have to know that Xianxia is favored by the heavens." Not only does he have to be dazzling, but more importantly, he has to have that kind of arrogance that comes from being at the top of the rich and powerful for a long time. If he was just handsome, he would at most be a big star. Temperament and the look in his eyes are very important, you know? You can pay attention to Ning Shi's performance. Because the female lead has experienced life and death, her gestures and even her eyes have a trace of detachment. The grief of the death of her loved ones, the unspeakable love for the people around her, and the carelessness of playing games are all expressed in her eyes. I got it. Thank you, director. Xianxia looked at the video in the camera and saw that he looked like a lousy clown. He simply wanted to destroy the video. Xianxia patted him on the shoulder. "I'll give you 10 minutes to adjust your condition." After saying that, Mian walked toward Ning, she who was surrounded by a group of girls. Chapter 905. Ning, she stood up immediately. Director Shun, are you going to tell me the script? Tell me my ass. Mian grumbled. You brat. So you were hiding your true strength in front of me last time? Mian realized that she had unknowingly called him brat. Ning, she said innocently, no, I was just acting normally last time. You didn't ask me to audition. This time, she had only used her acting skills. Mian was speechless. 10 minutes later, the filming resumed. After that, there were a few NGs, all because Xianxia couldn't keep up with Ningxi's pace. They weren't on the same level at all. Mian had high expectations for this scene, so she couldn't tolerate the slightest flaw. However, if they continued to film at this pace, they would have to film until the end of time. Moreover, Xianxia was about to break down. This couldn't go on. Thus, Mian decisively called for a stop. Cut. As soon as he finished speaking, Xianxia finally couldn't bear it any longer. With a dark expression, he took off his coat and fiercely threw it on the ground. Then, he strode forward with large strides. At this moment, his handsome face was densely covered with dark clouds and was almost sinister. The atmosphere was tense. Ji Yameng, Qi Feng, Kamingyu, all the staff members didn't dare to make a sound. The assistant saw that Xianxia had lost control and quickly ran over to comfort him. Hanxin, where are you going? It's only the first day. Don't mess around. Bear with it. The director said that you're getting better every time. In contrast to Xianxia's rage, Ning, she was wearing a white retro British suit. She loosened her collar and put her hands in her pockets as she strolled over leisurely. Mian pinched her brows and walked over. She pulled Ningxi to a corner and said in a low voice, you saw it too. Hanxin's performance is actually very good, but he's a newcomer after all. You should hold back a little. The only way now was for Ningxi to hold back. Ningxi glanced at Xianxia casually and said faintly, so what if he's a newcomer? He's a man who can't even act cool. It's better for him to leave this industry as soon as possible. Mian was speechless. All the men present were speechless. That was fucking infuriating. Everyone subconsciously turned their heads to look at Xianxia in unison. Sure enough, his face was almost green from anger. After all, he was still young and full of vigor. Xianxia, who was about to impulsively leave, stopped in his tracks because of this sentence. He clenched his fists tightly by his sides and said, Director Shun, do it again. Well, Mian hesitated for the first time. Given Xianxia's current state, it would be very dangerous for Ningxi to continue without withdrawing her aura. If he continued to NG this time, it would create an irreparable trauma in Xianxia's heart. This kind of trauma was almost fatal to an actor. After all, Mian valued talent and didn't want to take the risk. Unfortunately, both of them were very persistent. They had already walked to their respective positions and were ready to start. Mian and Ningxi looked at each other. Seeing the calm expression on each other's faces, they somehow felt more at ease. With Ningxi's acting skills, she should be able to control herself and stop when she realized something wasn't right. After all, there was no grudge between them. There was no need for her to ruin a newcomer. Furthermore, from his observation, Xianxia's performance was getting better and better. Perhaps. Chapter 906. Thinking of this, Mian gritted her teeth and finally shouted, Begin! Everyone held their breath and stared. The small band in the center played leisurely. The huge crystal chandelier above their heads looked dreamy, and dresses fluttered on the dance floor. At the end of the spiral staircase, two men, one in black and the other in white, walked down slowly, one dignified and the other leisurely. This time, from Xianxia's demeanor to his steps, from his temperament to his eyes, and even when Ningxi looked up and smiled, the corners of her mouth were slightly raised. They were all perfect and flawless. The two of them were like two equally bright stars, shining on each other. Cut. Not bad. Very good. Following Shun Mian's excited cut, almost everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Shin Mian's heart, which had been in her throat, finally relaxed. Thank goodness. Shin Hanshun made it through. If he couldn't, it would be a huge trauma to him, but once he made it through, his acting skills would definitely improve tremendously. Wow, that's great. Ji Yuming's heart was beating fast. When they looked at each other just now, my Fujoshi soul almost rose up. Madam is so handsome. Xianxia didn't know anything about Ji Feishue's feelings for him and only treated him as a capable subordinate and brother. However, the intimacy and tacit understanding between the two was enough to move and influence everyone, making the audience even more worried about the female lead's relationship. Qi Fong was also jealous, feeling like he'd been hurt twice because of the two of them. Okay, he's really handsome. Just when everyone couldn't help but applaud and praise, Shin Hanshun, as the person in question, didn't relax at all. He staggered down, grabbed the water from his assistant's hand, and drank half the bottle in one go, his chest violently heaving up and down. It was just a show of acting tough, but it felt like he was on a battlefield, and the spectators were still in shock from watching it. Qi Fong's face was full of panic as he secretly glanced at Ning Shi, who was still acting as if nothing had happened. He then moved closer to Ji Yameng and said, Yameng, are you sure the person you just described is the same person we're seeing now? This is too scary. How is she gentle? How is she considerate? He even said that she was a good person, that she could lead newcomers into the role, and that it was easy to act with her. Are you fucking kidding me? This was only the first scene, and Shin Hanshun was almost killed by her. He was glad that he didn't have many scenes with Ning. Ji Yameng bit her lip. But she was so considerate and relaxed when she was acting with me. I don't think it's Senior's fault. Is it her fault for acting so well? It should be because of the plot. The two of them need to act. It's inevitable. Qi Fong, why did he feel that it was because of the gender difference? To girls, he was as warm as the spring breeze, but to men, he was as cold as the autumn wind. Something seemed amiss. Shin Mian glanced at the time. It's too late now, so we don't have enough time. Let's postpone the rest of the scenes until tomorrow. Everyone has worked hard. Let's call it a day. Although they didn't finish today's schedule, it was still worth it to be able to perform such an important scene so perfectly. When Ning Shi and Shin Mian were alone, Shin Mian couldn't help but ask, if Shun Hanshun still can't keep up with you this time, will you stop acting? Chapter 907. Ning Shi smiled, and the corners of her eyes turned up like a blooming crabapple. How could that be? I believe in Director Shun's judgment of people. If he can't even handle this, it will ruin your reputation. Director Shun? She was acting normally this time. She didn't even suppress the scene. She was already being merciful. When she suppressed Jiang Mai, she was merciless. Shin Mian was almost dazzled by her smile. She was speechless. That's enough. You won't even let me off the hook. Sorry, I didn't have time to switch. Shin Mian was speechless. While they were talking, Shin Mian saw Kum Mingyu standing on the side, as if waiting for them to finish talking. Mingyu, what's up? I'm looking for Senior Ning Shi. Kum Mingyu's usually expressionless face looked a little tense. Ning Shi looked at him curiously, not knowing why he was looking for her. Among the newcomers, Kum Mingyu was the one she couldn't see through the most. However, she sensed a familiar aura from him, one that was similar to hers. Unfortunately, she didn't have time to shoot the scene with him today. She would have to wait until tomorrow. Can I have your autograph? I'm your fan, Kum Mingyu said expressionlessly. My fan? Ning Shi raised her eyebrows. She was surprised. Of course. Then, Ning Shi picked up the notebook and pen in his hand. She signed her name and wrote a few words of encouragement. Thank you, Senior. Kum Mingyu pursed his lips, bowed, and left without saying anything else. Shin Mian glanced at Ning Shi and suddenly asked meaningfully, Do you know how I found this person? How? Ning Shi asked. He wasn't a professional and came to me on his own. I looked for a long time, but couldn't find a suitable second male lead. So I asked him to try, but he refused. Huh? Didn't he come to me on his own? Why did he refuse? Ningxi was puzzled. He wanted to be the male lead. To be fair, his image wasn't suitable for the male lead. Did you convince him? Chen Mian nodded. I asked him to audition for the male lead's role first. His acting skills were up to standard, but his image wasn't up to par. So, I persuaded him to audition for the second male lead, but he didn't agree at the time. Later, I personally went to his house to invite him. Ning, she was a little surprised. Tut, Director Shun, you personally went to invite him. It's definitely not as simple as his acting skills, right? Shen Mian smiled mysteriously. You'll know when the time comes. Since Shen Mian said so, Ningxi didn't probe further. However, she suddenly remembered something. Oh yeah, Director Shun, can we visit the set? I have a friend who wants to come and see me. I'm sure it won't affect the filming. Sure, it's no problem for your friend. Shen Mian agreed without hesitation. As the two of them were talking, Shen Mian saw a figure poking his head out not far away. It turned out that there was more than one person who hadn't left. Shen Mian glanced at Ji Yumeng helplessly. Is she looking for Ningxi again? Ji Yumeng nodded repeatedly. Hey, let's chat. I won't bother you guys anymore. Other actors would talk to the director after work, but he was always looking for the female lead. Yumeng, it's time to call it a day. Why aren't you leaving? When talking to Ji Yumeng, Ningxi's tone was obviously lower. That lowered tone, Ji Yumeng subconsciously pinched her ears. Senior, can you give me your phone number? Chapter 908. Sure. Ningxi reached out her hand. Ji Yumeng immediately gave her phone to her. Ningxi used her cell phone to press her own number and returned it to her after the call was connected. Ji Yumeng plucked up her courage and asked, Can we add each other's WeChat ID? My WeChat ID is my phone number. Just add me. Oh, okay. Thank you, Senior. Senior, don't you need to remove your makeup? Ji Yumeng swallowed and looked at Ningxi in men's clothes. At this moment, Ningxi was wearing her own clothes, but it was still men's clothing. She was wearing casual clothes, jeans, and a hoodie jacket. She looked energetic and relaxed. It was just a casual outfit, but when she wore it, she attracted the attention of bees and butterflies. There's a traffic jam on the way back. I'm going to take the subway. It's more convenient, Ningxi answered. Oh, I see. Ji Yumeng was about to say that she was going to take the subway too when her phone rang. Her agent had called to pick her up, so she had to say goodbye to Ningxi. Yumeng, over here. Brother Feng, why are you here? Ji Yumeng looked at the middle-aged agent, who was parked on the side of the road. Qian Zhaofeng didn't know why she was throwing a tantrum. To pick you up, of course. How'd it go today? Did you get into trouble? I'm telling you, don't think about the lead role. No matter how unhappy you are with Ningxi, you have to bear with it. If you really don't want to act, I'll help you. He would rather not act in this movie than let her screw it up. Ji Yumeng stomped her foot. Who's unhappy with Ningxi? Don't talk nonsense. Didn't you say in the morning? Morning is morning. Anyway, I'm not unhappy with Ningxi. I want to be the third female lead. I'll fight anyone who tries to steal it from me. Qian Zhaofeng was dumbfounded. A woman's heart was truly unfathomable. Ningxi had told Lu Tingxiao that she would go to his place for dinner, so she went straight to his place after work. At the entrance of the palace, Mo Lingtian, who had been sent out by Lu Tingxiao, looked aggrieved. Hey, it's almost dinner time. Aren't you going to ask me to stay for dinner? Ningxi will come over tonight, Lu Tingxiao said. Signify that he will not be disturbed. Mo Lingtian snorted. I've seen through you long ago. Sure enough, you're a man without guts for the opposite sex. To think that he had purposely paid a visit to him and told him so much. Speaking of which, why didn't you ask that Tang Lang? He has been by that person's side for so long. Could it be that he really doesn't know anything about him? He's not my man. He was surprised. Even if Tang Lang told him, he wouldn't believe him. Not to mention, given the shrewdness of that person, even if it was Tang Lang, he wouldn't reveal his background to him. He's already a security guard in your company, but he's still not your man. Mo Lingtian was speechless. As the two of them were talking, a figure walked over from afar. The man wasn't very old, and he was dressed casually and fashionably. His face was extremely handsome, and it was hard to tell if he was a man or a boy. He had a wanton and arrogant aura around him. One look, and you could tell that he was someone who attracted bees and butterflies. Due to the contrast between the two men, Mo Lingtian subconsciously took a few more glances and asked Lu Tingxiao, "Who is that? Your brother's friend?" There were only Lu Jingli's and Lu Tingxiao's villas in this direction, so he was either looking for Lu Tingxiao or Lu Jingli. Mo Lingtian didn't wait for Lu Tingxiao's answer, but saw that the young man walked straight towards them until he stopped in front of them. Strictly speaking, he stopped in front of Lu Tingxiao. The young man didn't drive. He probably trotted over. He was slightly out of breath, and his fair and beautiful neck was slightly wet with sweat. After coming over, he pulled down Lu Tingxiao's neck without saying a word and then kissed him. His eyes were sparkling, and his voice was hoarse and low. "Did you miss me?" Mo Lingtian looked as if he had been struck by lightning. His whole body turned into a statue. Chapter 909. Did you miss me? Yeah. Hee. What did he see? Even when he saw Lu Tingxiao with that little white rabbit, it wasn't as shocking as this scene at the moment. However, after the shock, he was even more amazed. Dusk fell, and the sky was shimmering with the red glow of the sunset. When the young man stared at Lu Tingxiao, the wild and unruly aura on his body turned into an affectionate one. Under the sunset glow, that pair of shimmering eyes became soul-stirringly beautiful for a moment. Lu Tingxiao looked down at the young man. His eyes, which were covered with snow, turned into the patter of spring water. His gaze was gentle and cherished, as if he was looking at the whole world. Mo Lingtian inexplicably felt that this scene was extremely touching. Fuck, he was crazy. He actually felt that. Lu Tingxiao being lovey-dovey with a man was very touching. After getting the devil's affirmation, Ningxi was instantly satisfied. Sure enough, the healing power of beauty was invincible. Even the tiredness of a day's filming was swept away. She felt that the devil's tendency to get jealous was too groundless. With such beauty in front of her, it would be good if she was not smitten to death. How could she look at someone else? Seeing that the two of them had completely forgotten about his existence, Mo Lingtian could not help but raise his hand weakly. Ahem. Both of you. There's still one more person here. He felt as if he had bumped into something extraordinary. Would he be silenced? No, it was not him who bumped into it. He was just standing there. He was also a victim. Hey, young Master Mo, you're here too. Ningxi looked at Mo Lingtian. Mo Lingtian was about to cry. Brother, I've always been here, okay? Why are you looking at me like that? Ningxi put her arm on Lu Tingxiao's shoulder and said apologetically, I'm really sorry. Usually, when I'm here, it's very difficult for me to notice others. Mo Lingtian was speechless. Lu Tingxiao was actually called darling by a man, and he looked like he was in a good mood. Mo Lingtian was about to break down. Lu Tingxiao, what the hell are you doing? When I asked you, didn't you say you didn't like this? What kind of situation was this? Don't tell me that the little white rabbit from before was just a smokescreen. What you really like is actually a man? Fuck! Then wouldn't I be in danger? And what about Zhao? And Lu Tingxiao said, she is Ningxi. Mo Lingtian was dumbfounded when he heard Lu Tingxiao's words. What did you say? At this time, behind the three of them, a soft and adorable little bun ran over like a whirlwind. It did not run toward Lu Tingxiao, but hugged the young man's calf. Its big eyes were filled with surprise and dependence. The look in little bun's eyes gave him a sense of déjà vu. After all, this little fellow was the same as Lu Tingxiao. He had never been so warm and intimate with anyone, except for little white rabbit. Last time at Lu Chongshan's birthday banquet, he saw with his own eyes how obedient and cute little Baozi was in front of that little rabbit. When Ningxi saw little Baozi, let alone Mo Lingtian, she even forgot about the great demon king's beauty. She immediately hugged the little fellow. Chapter 9-10. Seeing Xiao Bao wearing fluffy cartoon cashmere pajamas, bare ears on the back of the hat, and a round little tail on the butt, Ning, she was so adorable. Oh, my baby is so cute today. Your father finally has an appreciation for beauty. At this moment, the disguise and shell of the young man holding Xiao Bao seemed to have been removed in an instant, leaving only his true self. Mo Lingtian finally believed it. She really looks like a little white rabbit. After Ning, she entered the room with Xiao Bao in her arms, and Mo Lingtian was still in shock. Damn, it's amazing. Lu Tingxiao, does this girl know how to change into a man? From a little fox to a little white rabbit to a shooting master to a little maid, she could even dress up as a man. A woman who could win Lu Tingxiao's heart shouldn't be judged by ordinary people's standards. He finally knew where the rumor that Lu Tingxiao liked men and kissed a man in public at a party came from. He was so playful in the living room. Miss Xiaoxi, dinner will be ready in a while. Have some juice. Miss Xiaoxi, have some fruit. Miss Xiaoxi, do you want dessert? After the little maid came back and forth several times, Lu Tingxiao finally pinched between his eyebrows and said to Ningxi, "Go upstairs and change clothes." Why? It's so troublesome to change clothes. Ningxi muttered in confusion. Lu Tingxiao didn't answer, but suddenly looked in a certain direction. At the door of the kitchen and in the small garden outside the French windows, the little maids at home had peeped into the kitchen many times. One had come to deliver gifts several times. When Ningxi was dressed in women's clothes, she had already coaxed these little maids to favor her one by one. Not to mention men's clothes. Is the handsome guy inside really Miss Xiaoxi? How could it be? You must be kidding. Wan said so. Otherwise, except for Miss Xiaoxi, have you ever seen young master so close to anyone else? I bought the same series for you and Xiao Bao. Lu Tingxiao answered. Really? Why didn't you tell me earlier? Go get changed now. Hearing this, Ningxi immediately rushed upstairs. A moment later, Ningxi changed her clothes and walked down. Xiao Bao's pajamas were in the shape of a bear, and Ningxi's were in the shape of a rabbit. The two long ears behind the hat were so cute. Ningxi skipped downstairs and turned around in front of Lu Tingxiao. Isn't it cute? Lu Tingxiao, I didn't expect you to buy this kind of clothes. Lu Tingxiao, I think you'll like it. Ningxi raised her eyebrows. Do you like it? Lu Tingxiao, you like everything. Ningxi, compared to her flirting skills, she felt that the great demon king's serious flirting skills were more heaven-defying. After dinner, he returned to his apartment. Ningxi called Zhuang Ku'er. Hello, Xiaoxi. It's you. What's the matter? Zhuang Ku'er's surprised voice came from the other end of the phone. You said you wanted to come to the set last time. I asked the director, and he said it was okay. You can come here at any time. Ningxi always kept her promise to the girl firmly in mind. Hearing that, Zhuang Ku'er was immediately overjoyed. Really? That's great. Ningxi was about to speak, but found that Zhuang Ku'er's voice was very noisy. Ku'er, aren't you at home? Chapter 9-11. Zhuang Ku'er sighed and said hesitantly, I'm in an internet cafe downtown. Internet cafe? Ningxi was a little surprised. How could Zhuang Ku'er go to an internet cafe? I'm going to find my brother. Zhuang Ku'er paused and then explained. After what happened last time, father set a curfew for him and forbade him to go out after 9 o'clock in the evening. However, he ran out again when I was not paying attention. If I don't take him back quickly, father will be furious when he finds out when he comes back tonight. Sister, you're so noisy. Can you stay away from me? Zhuang Rongguang's impatient complaint came from the other end of the phone. Rongguang, father is likely to come back tonight. Father, can you stop using dad to threaten me? I'm just playing a game, not committing murder or arson. Can't I have a little freedom? The problem is, it's almost the final exam, and you're still playing. Also, how much money have you spent on this game? And you're still dating someone online? Go away. You're so annoying. It's not over yet. Zhuang Rongguang's tone was extremely nasty. He seemed to have forgotten who had been protecting him when he was almost shot by his father. Hearing Zhuang Rongwang's nasty tone, Ningxi frowned and her face suddenly darkened. However, when talking to Zhuang, her tone was still very gentle. Can you help me see what game your brother is playing and what his game ID is, and then tell me secretly? Zhuang subconsciously took a look at what Ningxi said, and then walked away and told Ningxi the game is called Holy Realm, and his ID is Glory of Light. He seems to be getting married in the game tonight, and he won't go home no matter how I persuade him. Okay, I got it. Find a place to sit for a while, and I'll find a way to make him go home with you. Zhuang didn't ask what Ningxi was going to do, but subconsciously trusted her. After hanging up the phone, Ningxi turned on her laptop and clicked on the icon of a game called Holy Realm on the desktop. This was the game that Ningxi and Jiangmai endorsed, and it was also the game that Ningxi had played for the longest time. Young man, there was a path to heaven, but you didn't take it. Instead, you barged into the doorless hell. He was already an adult, yet he actually let a girl run out to look for him in the middle of the night and even spoke rudely. If I don't kill you until you delete the game tonight, I'm not Feng Ling. With an expression as if his woman was being bullied, Ningxi eagerly logged into the game account. As soon as Ningxi logged in, a system notification popped up in the game. The #1 player on the PK leaderboard, Lord Feng Ling, has arrived. Ningxi and Jiangmai used other accounts to promote the game and broadcast the game. This was Ningxi's real account. As soon as the bright red system notification popped up, the world immediately went into an uproar. World, wow, it's so lively tonight. More than half of the gurus on the ranking boards are here. Even Lord Feng Ling, who hasn't been online for a long time, has appeared. World, after all, this is a marriage between the leader of the #1 sect, Glory of Light, and the leader of the #2 sect, From Water. It's not surprising that Lord Feng Ling would be invited. World, but it's strange to accept the invitation. Lord Feng Ling has always been a loner. He doesn't join any sect, and he doesn't make friends with any sects. World, ow. I saw Lord Feng Ling. He's on his way to the Moon Temple. It seems like he's really going to attend the wedding. Chapter 9:12. World, Soaring Wind, seeking the coordinates of the Glory of Light. Ningxi typed on the keyboard and sent a message in the world channel. As soon as this message came out, all the chat boxes in the world were spammed. World out. His Excellency had actually appeared in this world. A group photo of the powerhouses in the front row. Your Excellency, I want to bear your children. World, upstairs, do you want to die? Feng Ling has a wife. World, so what? Can't I be your concubine? World, haha. Don't you know what kind of person Feng Ling's wife is? She even dares to touch Luo, Hua's husband? World, what wife? It's not like Sir married her. Yes, Ningxi's game account was a male account, because his combat power ranked first in the entire server and he dominated the PK list for many years. He was recognized as the most desirable man among all female players. The wife they were talking about was Jiangmai. Jiangmai had been tricked by Ningxi into playing a female character, and his ID was Luo Hua. Because the two of them often appeared together, and Jiangmai was Ningxi's only friend in the game, the outside world had always regarded them as a couple. After someone sent Zhuang Rongwang's coordinates to Ningxi, Ningxi immediately rushed to the destination. At that moment, a friend in the game sent a voice invitation. Ningxi glanced at the pop-up box and casually pressed the answer button. Then, Jiangmai's voice came from the computer immediately. Holy shit, you're finally online. Why did you go to the Moon Elder Temple for no reason? Hurry up and PK. Shut up, I have business to attend to. What business can you have at the Moon Elder Temple? Huh? On the other end of the earpiece, Ningxi chuckled darkly and then replied faintly, I'm going to kidnap the bride. What? Jiangmai almost choked on his own saliva. What did you just say? He hadn't been online for 800 years, and the moment he came online, he actually wanted to snatch a woman? What the fuck? Wasn't he being cuckolded? After all, everyone in the game thought he and Ning were a couple. Thinking that Xianxia was still waiting in the internet cafe at night, she didn't have time to talk to Jiangmai. She summoned her flying mount and flew to the Moon Temple, catching up with Zhuang Rongwang's escort team. The game was quite realistic. The wedding scene was filled with a sea of flowers. It was very beautiful. A male player with the ID Glory of Light rode a tall horse at the front of the long procession. Behind him was the bride in a large palanquin. The people on both sides of the procession were all top players in the game. They were either sect masters or famous players on the rankings. Halfway through the journey, a loud dragon roar came from the sky. It was the only dragon-type flying mount in the server, Yazi. Hearing the dragon's roar, all the players knew that it was the number one player in the server, Fengling. At this moment, Zhuang Rongwang, who was sitting in front of the computer in the internet cafe, stared at the man descending from the sky with glowing eyes, his face full of pride. Damn it, I'm awesome. Even Fengling came to support their marriage. Zhuang Rongwang's two friends also exclaimed, "Fuck, this was Yazi. This is the first time I've seen it with my own eyes. It's so cool. I heard that you have to win 100 matches in a row to exchange for it. Fengling is the only one in the entire server who has achieved this. But why did he suddenly come here today? What's so strange about it? I'm now the sect master of the number one sect in the entire server." Just as Zhuang Rongwang finished speaking, his friend on the computer next to him suddenly stared at the screen and exclaimed in shock, "Fuck! Glory! Run! What's the matter? Why are you shouting?" Zhuang Rongwang looked at the screen in dissatisfaction. Then he was completely dumbfounded. The entire screen was blood red. Fengling had actually activated massacre mode on him. Chapter 9:13. The so-called slaughter mode was different from PK, which required the other party's acceptance and consent. After activating slaughter mode, even if the other party didn't want to fight you, you could directly kill them. Of course, there was a punishment for killing someone. After activating slaughter mode, the player's name would become red, just like a monster, and anyone could kill them. The players were shocked that Fengling would attend Glory of Light's wedding banquet. Some even guessed that Fengling was going to join a gang. In the next second, everyone saw him get off his mount and activate slaughter mode without warning. In the next moment, the man in PK godly equipment was completely covered in blood. The massive scythe in his hand slashed through the air, and a crescent-shaped beam of red light landed on Glory of Light's body. Immediately, half of Glory of Light's HP disappeared. Before anyone could react, Fengling unleashed a few big moves in succession. After a few moves, Glory of Light fell to the ground dead. The World Channel, which had been spamming rapidly just now, was now as quiet as a chicken. In the internet cafe, Zhuang Rongwang slammed his fist on the table furiously. "Fuck, this bastard actually dared to kill me." The red-haired man next to him was dumbfounded. "What just happened? Why are you in a daze? Revive me," Zhuang Rongwang said angrily. Oh. In the game, the doctor player used revive, and Zhuang Rongwang immediately revived. However, in the next second, another red light flashed, and Zhuang Rongwang died again because he didn't revive with full HP. This time, he was killed in one move. Zhuang Rongwang, the two brothers next to him, the people in the game world, and the guests attending the wedding banquet, everyone was dumbfounded again. The first time could be considered a misunderstanding, but he wouldn't make the same mistake again. Fengling was obviously going to kill Glory of Light. On the other side of the computer, Jiangmai, who was still connected to the voice chat, was having a headache. "Fuck, brother, what are you trying to do? How'd this guy offend you?" "Ningxi, he bullied my guy." Jiangmai, logically speaking, Ningxi didn't have any friends in the game. Who did Glory of Light bully? As soon as he finished speaking, Xianxia killed Glory of Light for the third time. At this moment, someone finally spoke in the channel. "World Glory of Light, Fengling. What do you mean?" Ningxi's response was to stab the sword into the ground and sit down cross-legged, blocking the way of the wedding banquet. She didn't say a word, but her meaning was clear. They were trying to stir up trouble. World fuck. World, realm, glory of light, glory of glory. World is God. Is phone T God. Damn. God. Phone. God. I didn't expect to see so much gossip at a wedding. King, world, glory of light. Feng Ling, I have no enmity with you. Since you came looking for trouble, don't blame me for not showing mercy. Now that Feng Ling had activated massacre mode, everyone could go up and kill him. No matter how good he was at fighting, he couldn't compete with Glory of Light's #1 guild. At this moment, everyone's screen suddenly turned golden. A bird's cry came from a computer system, and a huge shadow covered the sky. A golden phoenix descended from the sky, and a fairy-like woman walked down from the phoenix. The ID above the woman's head was Luo Hua. Chapter 9:14. World, Luo Hua. My Luo Hua goddess is here. Goddess, please take a picture with me. World, Feng Ling's wife is here. There's going to be a good show. World, glory of light, doesn't even need to do anything. Luo Hua will probably kill that scumbag herself. Luo Hua was ranked second on the PK leaderboard and the only female player in the top 10. She had won 88 matches in a row, and her mount was a golden phoenix. She was known as the PK Crazy Demon. Although her PK score wasn't as high as Feng Ling's, she had won the most matches in the whole server. At the same time, Luo Hua was also the #1 PK player in the whole server. Although her gang wasn't ranked high, everyone in her gang was rich. Even a #1 gang didn't dare to offend her. Otherwise, she could use money to poach all the people in her gang. That was how capricious she was. Zhuang Rongwan's pocket money was limited and had been restricted recently. Naturally, he couldn't compete with these rich players. World, glory of light. Leader Luo, your man is so fickle that he came to steal my woman. Are you going to do something about this? Zhuang Rongwan was worried that Luo Hua would protect Feng Ling and decisively tried to sow discord. World, Luo Hua. Does my man need to steal your woman? One sentence, and it was an instant kill. World from water, Luo Hua. Don't go too far. Your man? Brother Feng Ling has never admitted his relationship with you. Don't flatter yourself. Fuck. Zhang Mai cursed in his earpiece. The next second, a line of words popped up on the screen. System player Luo Hua has started killing from water. The whole world was dumbfounded again. What a godlike development. It was too melodramatic. Two men fighting for a woman became two women fighting for a man. It had nothing to do with glory of light anymore. His new wife was fighting for a man with another woman. As a leader, he was really cheated on goddess from water, actually like Feng Ling too. The players weren't surprised. In the game, the strong ruled. Which female player didn't like Feng Ling? Moreover, it was a man like this who came to steal their woman. Their hearts were racing. While the game was in an uproar, Ning, Shi, and Jiangmai were quarreling outside. Fuck, Jiangmai, what you doing? You're going to fucking make me a cuckold, and you're not allowing me to defend myself? Where my ass? Can't you tell them you're a man? This way, all the misunderstandings will be resolved. How am I supposed to survive in the game if people know that I'm a lady boy? You're a man, but you can't kill a woman. I'm a woman now too. If you cause any more trouble for me, don't count on me to accompany you next time. After finally persuading Jiang Mai, Ningxi immediately sent a message in the World channel. World, Feng Ling, personal grudges. Please do not interfere. Otherwise, you will bear the consequences. Then, Feng Ling actually issued a challenge. World, Feng Ling, glory of light, let's fight. I'll take off my godly equipment and give you 3 moves. The loser will delete his account. Instantly, the world boiled over again. Should I delete my account? Playing so big? While everyone was spamming the World channel, they were also excitedly waiting for Glory of Light's response. If Glory of Light still refused to accept the challenge, it would be too shameful. He was simply not a man. Glory, what should we do? Should we fight? That guy even took off his godly equipment. He's too arrogant. Of course. Glory go. What are you waiting for? Chapter 9:15. Zhuang Ronguang's face darkened as he gritted his teeth. His combat strength was actually not low. Just now, he was killed by Feng Ling because he was caught off guard and did not activate his skills. Now, not only did Feng Ling give him 3 moves, he even took off his godly equipment. Hence, Zhuang Ronguang raised his sword and slashed. As expected, Feng Ling did not retaliate. After 3 slashes, Feng Ling was left with 10% of his health. Brat, how dare you be so arrogant? Delete the game. Zhuang Ronguang continued slashing. However, in the next second, Feng Ling suddenly disappeared. At the same time, Zhuang Ronguang lost a quarter of his health. Fuck. Shifting shadows. It's fine, Glory, continue. His skill is on cooldown. This move can only be used once, and without his godly equipment, the damage is halved. Kill him quickly. 1 slash is enough. However, Feng Ling continued to kite with a sliver of health left. His cool maneuvers were dazzling. In the end, he easily killed Glory of Light, who had a full level of godly equipment and an orange weapon. The world channel was flooded with messages. Frowny face world, worship the great god. World, worship the great god. World, worship the great god. World Feng Ling, delete the game. Otherwise, I'll kill you every time I see you. World, great god, what's the grudge between you two? World, that's right. How did sect leader Guang offend you? Not only did he steal the bride, he even killed him to the point of deleting his account. World Feng Ling, I don't like him. World, in the internet cafe. Zhuang Ronguang looked at the 4 words sent by Feng Ling and kicked over the chair behind him. Hey, Glory, where are you going? Not playing anymore? You spent so much money on this account. Don't tell me you really don't want it anymore. Get lost. Don't bother me. Don't look for me to play games anymore. He was tortured to death in front of the entire server for a woman, and he lost in PK. How could he have the face to play? At the same time, Ning Shi's cell phone rang. It was Zhuang Ke. Ning Shi interrupted Jiang Mai, who was complaining to him in the headset about how From Water was provoking him in a private chat, and answered the phone. Hello, Ke. Hearing Ning Shi's sudden and gentle voice, Jiang Mai, who was on the other side of the computer, immediately fell silent and pricked up his ears. Hey, Xiaoxi, Ronguang has gone home. That's good. You should also hurry back. Next time, don't come out alone so late. It's not safe. Yes, I know. But what did you do? I think I heard Ronguang say that he won't play games anymore. I didn't expect him to say that he won't play anymore. Oh, it's nothing. I also have an account in this game, and it just so happens that I know your brother. I just used my account to talk to him privately. As a friend, I told him to study hard and stop wasting his studies playing games. If I talked to him as a player and a friend, he might be more willing to listen. I see. Xiaoxi, thank you so much. Ning Shi's headset was still on. On the other side, Jiang Mai was completely speechless as he listened to Ning Shi's blatant lies. After Ning Shi hung up the phone, Jiang Mai immediately snorted. Which girl did you hook up with this time? What do you mean hook up with? It's my new best friend. Her brother plays games all day and doesn't go home. I just helped him a little. He made such a big fuss. He'd kidnapped the bride and forced her to delete her account, all for the sake of coaxing a girl. He'd even fought with that brainless woman called From Water in the game because of jealousy, but in the end, he was busy with another woman. Jiang Mai felt like he had suffered a critical hit. Chapter 9:16. By the way, how did you feel when you started filming today? Jiang Mai asked casually. Ning Shi curled her lips. It went well. There was a troublemaker, but he's been taken care of. Thorn, don't tell me it's Xianxia. Jiang Mai muttered. You know him too? Ning Shi was a little surprised. Win Media is always saying that they want to train the next Jiang Mai. How can I not know? Jiang Mai snorted and then asked, Did you practice with him today? Oh, how was it? He NG'd more than a dozen times. So soft-hearted. Jiang Mai was immediately unhappy. Why was she so cruel when she tortured him? It's because he's too weak. It's boring to torture him. He's far worse than you. Ning, she replied. Jiang Mai was speechless. What she said, should he thank her for her compliment? But he does have great potential. If you don't work harder, the new generation will surpass the old one. Ning, she said quietly. Humph, you're worrying too much. You want to push me? Let him try. Jiang Mai said in a tone as if he didn't take her seriously at all. Ning, she shook her head with a smile. However, although Jiang Mai was arrogant, he did have the capital to be arrogant. His innate arrogance couldn't be learned by ordinary people. If Xianxia blindly followed Jiang Mai's path and didn't dig out his own characteristics, he would always be Jiang Mai's shadow, even if he became famous. By the way, when will your scene be tomorrow? Jiang Mai asked. I don't have any scenes in the morning. It'll be in the afternoon. What do you want to do? As a senior in the same company as you, of course I'll visit you on set and support you. Visit my ass. It's obvious that he's up to no good. The next morning, Ning Shi's scene was in the afternoon, so she went to the studio in the morning. If she could make it in time, she had to find a way to meet the person in charge of SF. Previously, he had tried contacting her several times, but to no avail. After arranging an appointment, he went on a business trip. Now that he was back on a business trip, he was busy with all sorts of things and had no time. Ning, she planned to find a way to find out about the other party's schedule and then directly go to find him. After preparing for so long, she had to let the other party see whether it was dead or alive. After rushing to the studio, Ning, she immediately called Han Momo over. Momo, is there any result about the thing I asked you to inquire about the day before yesterday? Yes, Director Wang's schedule this morning is at the golf course in the western suburbs. Okay, I got it. Ning, she turned on the computer and revised the proposal again. Upon seeing this, Gong Xianxia frowned. He put down the design manuscript in his hands and walked over. Boss, why don't I go this time? Don't you have to film in the afternoon? I have to rush to Western Zhejiang now, and from Western Zhejiang to the set, it's too tiring. It's okay. You don't have to worry about that. Just focus on your design. Ning, she patted him on the shoulder and prepared to leave. Just as he picked up his bag and was about to take a step, a calm voice came from the office next door. You're just wasting your energy. The person who spoke was Xiao Weilon. Hearing this, Han Momo immediately looked unhappy. They were all working hard for the studio, and they didn't ask for any help. Why did she have to pour cold water on them? Chapter 9:17. Ning, Shi's eyes flickered. She put down her bag, pulled out a chair, and sat opposite Xiao Weilon. Goddess, what can I do for you? As soon as Xiao Weilon raised her eyes, she saw Ning, Shi sitting opposite her, and was immediately dazzled by her eyes full of curiosity. Under normal circumstances, normal people wouldn't be convinced after being hit like this, especially in such a tone. They might even start a fight. After all, the cooperation between them was too weak, and there was no foundation. It was too easy to have conflicts. Ning Shi's attitude inevitably surprised her. In fact, she had been surprised many times since she came here. When she was sent here by Qin Shengyue at first, she had the attitude of completing the task and leaving. She wouldn't do anything else. There were too many artists like Ning Shi who had opened a studio and started their own brand. They were just there for show. They were all superficial and arrogant. There was no need for her to talk to such people. She believed that Ning Shi was the same. Therefore, she held the principle that it was better to have less trouble. She didn't want to waste any extra energy in this kind of place. She didn't want to make any mistakes. However, as time went by, this girl really surprised her. Although she wasn't professional in many areas and even took a lot of detours, she had been learning and making progress. She even had a lot of unique opinions. Gong Xianxia treated this career with his life. Even Han Momo had a strong sense of collective honor for the studio. In this kind of atmosphere, she had already been unknowingly influenced by her own opinion. Just now, before her brain could react, her body had already impulsively opened her mouth. Although she was a little surprised, it was within her expectations. At this moment, in the face of the girl's humble eyes, Xiao Weilon finally said, "It's a commercial society now. People pay more attention to the outside than the inside. They prefer flashy things. Business is definitely not something that can be negotiated with perseverance. Your behavior, in the eyes of others, is nothing more than pestering." Ningxi quickly took out a small notebook, and her eyes became brighter. "Then what should I do to make the person in charge of SF be interested in our brand?" Seeing Ningxi acting like a primary school student, Xiao Weilon coughed lightly and said, "It's impossible for the time being. That kind of company is very powerful and will never accept the agency of a brand of our level. No matter how perfect your proposal was, if you chose the wrong target, you would just be trying to fish from a tree. Right now, we don't even have a small client. It's not realistic for us to reach the top in a single step and negotiate with the industry's top companies in one go." Ningxi fell into deep thought as she listened. Xiao Weilon's words undoubtedly pointed out the crux of the matter. Perhaps it was because she had succeeded in persuading Xianxia last time that she had subconsciously set a high goal for herself this time. After all, Xianxia had played a little smart that time, and it was impossible to rely on luck and speculation every time. Seeing that Ningxi understood, Xiao Weilon continued, "In the current state of our studio, it's not suitable to cooperate with a big company like SF. According to our position, the most suitable partners are those socialites." Chapter 918. The problem now is, how do we open up the socialite market? Han Momo asked subconsciously. "Prepare 10 sets of clothes for me. I'll send them out," Xiao Weilon said. "What?" Han Momo's eyes widened. Send them out?" "Yes. We open the studio to make money, not to do charity. If we just send them out, we'll lose everything." Han Momo was surprised and looked at Xiao Weilon suspiciously. She had thought she had a good idea. She was too blind. After a moment of silence, Ningxi looked at Xianxia and asked, "How many sets of advanced custom-made clothes do we have now?" "Exactly 10, but we were going to release them as a new product," Xianxia answered. Ningxi said directly, "Then don't release it. Leave it to Director Xiao." Xiao Weilon nodded slightly and then looked at Xianxia. "I need detailed information about each set of clothes, material, design concept." While Xiao Weilon was talking to Xianxia, Han Momo hurriedly pulled Ningxi aside and said in a low voice, "Sister Shi, this is too risky. I've calculated that the total value of those clothes is at least a few million. We've used the best materials and quality. If we give them away for free, we'll lose almost all of our profits during this period of time. It'll cause a rupture in our capital chain. Don't use people you doubt." Ningxi narrowed her eyes and then gritted her teeth. "Besides, you can't get a wolf without risking your life." She had waited for so long, and finally Xiao Weilon took the initiative to intervene in the studio's business. How could she let go of this opportunity? Even if she failed, she would accept it. Moreover, she didn't think she would fail. Xiao Weilon said she would be responsible for sending the clothes out. This meant that she was going to use her own connections for the studio. Connections were Xiao Weilon's greatest weapon. Seeing Ningxi's firm attitude and confidence, Han Momo didn't try to persuade her anymore. Xianxia was packing up the clothes with Han Momo when Ningxi suddenly rushed over. Oh, my little sweethearts, let me say goodbye to them." Han Momo was speechless. She didn't know who said it so directly just now. Did she really think that she didn't care at all? He didn't feel any heartache at all. Xiao Weilon looked at Ningxi's expression, as if her flesh was being cut off. A smile appeared on her face, but at the same time, her heart was even more touched. It could be seen that Ningxi's current economic conditions were not very good, and these clothes were all the liquid funds of the whole studio. However, she still chose to believe her without hesitation. Ningxi kissed those beautiful clothes one by one, and then suddenly thought of something. Wait, by the way, Director Xiao, I have a good friend here. She's super beautiful and cute, and her identity must be in line with the position of our studio. Can you give me one for her?" Xiao Weilon nodded. Of course, you're the boss. I am indeed the boss, but you are the light. Ningxi was overjoyed when she got the approval. Then, she chose a set of youthful and lively clothes for young girls. Oh my, this dress will definitely look good on my courier. And it was so expensive. They absolutely could not let outsiders benefit from this. You're tuning in to the Eternal Immortal Ballad YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.